The boy stood at the pinnacle of the world the moment he was born. His father was the first man to ever wield divine power, known to all as the First Awakened. His magic type compatibility score reached an astonishing 97%. Yet Min Jae-hyun ultimately chose the martial path instead. At the time, magic type awakeners were viewed with extreme prejudice. And now, as a martial type, all he could do was watch magic type awakeners bask in the spotlight on TV. Everyone knew that an awakener's growth usually stopped at the age of 20, and for Min Jae-hyun, it was already too late to change his path. The only job left to him was serving as a human shield in raid teams. Any vague sense of pride he once felt toward the martial path had long since been crushed by reality. The only consolation was that dungeons sometimes yielded unexpected wealth. Even though such rewards could mean death at any moment, they were still the last hope keeping low-tier awakeners alive. At that moment, the dungeon guard shouted loudly, "Everyone, pay attention. We enter in 30 minutes." Before every dungeon run, Min Jae-hyun had a small habit. He would take out his phone and look at a photo of himself with his mother. After all, once inside the dungeon, no one knew if they would come back alive. Still, this dungeon seemed relatively easy. Their enemies were nothing more than zombies with no powerful skills. All Min Jae-hyun had to do was hold his shield and guard his position. As waves of dazzling spells flashed past, the zombies ahead were effortlessly wiped out. The party belonged to the Meteor Guild, newly founded, yet already famous. Given how things were going, Min Jae-hyun believed he would make it out alive. Soon, only the final boss remained in the dungeon. Taking advantage of the brief break, Min Jae-hyun decided to check their current gains. That was when the system interface glitched for the first time. A searing pain followed immediately after. It turned out that the Asura system, the foundation of human survival, had completely collapsed. In a daze, Min Jae-hyun heard a voice telling him to follow the light. At the same time, alerts kept appearing from the Asura system. It turned out that the Asura system had been infiltrated by an unknown aberrant entity. Min Jae-hyun couldn't help wondering whether that entity was the very voice he had heard. When he turned around, he found countless points of light appearing out of nowhere. Strangely, no one else seemed able to see these anomalies. It was as if the lights existed for Min Jae-hyun alone. And so, Min Jae-hyun decided to follow them and see where they led. Along the way, he tried countless times to reboot the Asura system. Unfortunately, the system remained completely offline. This was something that had never happened in the past 17 years. Back then, a colossal tree had suddenly risen from the Pacific Ocean. It sprouted overnight, and in just 9 days, grew so vast it blotted out the sky. That tree was none other than the world tree of myth, Yggdrasil. On the 9th day after the tree fully formed, monsters began appearing across the globe, bringing humanity an unprecedented catastrophe. Half of the world population perished as a result, and then half of the survivors died from famine and disease. It was at that moment that the Asura system emerged, granting humanity divine power and turning people into awakeners. Only then was human civilization able to endure. With the Asura system, the foundation of human survival, suddenly collapsing, the mysterious voice guided Min Jae-hyun to follow the points of light. At the end of those lights stood an ancient, time-worn gate. Min Jae-hyun couldn't help but speculate. This might be the legendary treasure gate. According to rumors, it only appeared in high-level dungeons, hiding chambers filled with unimaginable wealth beyond it. For Min Jae-hyun, this was his one and only chance to change his life. With unease weighing on his heart, he reached out and pushed the gate open. Yet there were no mountains of treasure, as the stories claimed. The only thing inside the room was a single orb placed at its center. Min Jae-hyun had no intention of giving up an opportunity like this. Without the slightest hesitation, he reached out and grabbed the orb. The moment Min Jae-hyun made contact with it, the Asura system was restored. It turned out to be a mythical grade item, Odin's Lost Eye. Not only could it dismantle and destroy magical calculation constructs, it could also effortlessly copy the skills of others. After all, The highest grade items known to date were only S rank. A mythical grade item like Odin's Lost Eye was enough to secure Min Jae-hyun's life for the rest of his days. He wasn't opposed to the idea of keeping it for himself. But once an Awakener passed the age of 20, their level could no longer increase. Even if he used it, the results wouldn't be ideal. Since he had already obtained the treasure, Min Jae-hyun decided it was time to leave. When he returned, he found everyone waiting for him. This time, Min Jae-hyun buried all his resentment deep inside. If anyone found out he had obtained something valuable in the dungeon, death would be the only outcome waiting for him. Fortunately, he managed to fool everyone this time. Now, all he had to do was make sure no one grew suspicious about his temporary departure. But just before the final battle began, something went wrong. Massive rocks started crashing down inside the cavern, slamming straight into the team. Immediately after, a vast cloud of eerie, poisonous mist spread through the area. Many fragile mages collapsed on the spot, overwhelmed by the toxic fog. Min Jae-hyun was about to warn everyone to retreat from the mist, when the man in front of him was suddenly pierced straight through by a sword. In that instant, Min Jae-hyun realized there had to be enemies hiding within the poisonous fog. Without the slightest hesitation, he turned and fled. After finally obtaining a mythical grade item, Min Jae-hyun had no intention of dying here. The next second, a chain of lightning grazed past him, and the ensuing explosion completely cut off his escape route. Min Jae-hyun couldn't help wondering, who was this person? Then a figure stepped out of the darkness and spoke. "I knew it. Hyung, I knew you'd survive." Min Jae-hyun never expected that the one who ambushed everyone would be Jung Yumin. After all, Jung Yumin had always been Min Jae-hyun's agent. As an A-rank magic-type awakener, Jung Yumin had secured him plenty of decent jobs. This dungeon run included. Smiling, Jung Yumin said, "Didn't I tell you? I said I'd come see you today." At that moment, Min Jae-hyun finally understood. The man standing before him was the true culprit behind everything. With a cold expression, he asked, "Was all of this you're doing? The poison and the attack on the Meteor Guild?" Jung Yumin replied calmly, "That's right, I did all of it. But I was acting on a client's request. Plenty of people already hate the Meteor Guild, and the way they look down on other guilds makes enemies inevitable." Realizing he was no match for him, Min Jae-hyun turned away and said, "Jung Yumin, I'll pretend I never saw any of this today." Before the words even settled, a chain of lightning lashed toward him again. With a twisted grin, Jung Yumin said, "Hyung, the target this time wasn't just the Meteor Guild." Only then did Min Jae-hyun realize that the agent who had once found him work was actually an assassin sent to kill him. With his D-rank martial build, he stood no chance against an A-rank magic-type awakener like Jung Yumin. If he'd reacted even a moment slower, he would already be dead. But Jung Yumin had no intention of letting him go. 3 chains of lightning shot toward Min Jae-hyun once more. Relying on his martial training, Min Jae-hyun narrowly dodged them again. He couldn't help but wonder who he had offended, badly enough that they would send an A-rank magic-type awakener to kill him. Suddenly, a familiar figure surfaced in Min Jae-hyun's mind. In a cold voice, he asked, "Did my father send you?" At those words, Jung Yumin froze. For a moment, he even forgot to continue attacking Min Jae-hyun, who stood right there. Jung Yumin's body began to tremble uncontrollably. Then he burst out laughing. "Your instincts really are sharp, Hyung, but that's what I like about you." The laughter made Min Jae-hyun think of his mother in that photograph. He spoke again, his voice heavy. "One last question. 0.5 winters ago, did he give you the same kind of job back then?" Jung Yumin said in shock, "I can't believe you figured that out too. You really are impressive. I honestly can't understand it. What kind of father kills his own wife first, and then turns around and tries to kill his own son? Hyung, even you have to admit that's crossing the line. But things have come this far. Farewell, Hyung." At the brink of death, Min Jae-hyun finally activated Odin's Lost Eye. A blinding, overwhelming flash of light erupted before Jung Yumin's eyes. He could clearly sense Min Jae-hyun's magical power surging at an explosive rate. To prevent any unexpected turn of events, Jung Yumin decided to stop holding back. This time, The chain of lightning shot toward Min Jae-hyun at extreme speed. Just as it was about to strike him, the lightning chain suddenly dissipated in midair. Jung Yumin's eyes widened as he froze in place. Only then did he realize that Min Jae-hyun had just equipped Odin's Lost Eye. Using a blank card, Min Jae-hyun had successfully copied the lightning chain skill. Min Jae-hyun said coldly, "Jung Yumin, I'll make sure you die in as much pain as possible." As his words fell, 6 full chains of lightning manifested behind him. Staring at the scene, Jung Yumin was utterly stunned. This was a skill he had spent countless hours mastering. Yet now, it had been effortlessly copied and controlled by a D-rank martial-type awakener. In direct combat, Min Jae-hyun was even suppressing Jung Yumin, an A-rank magic-type awakener. Every lightning chain Jung Yumin cast was forcibly dismantled by Min Jae-hyun through absolute calculation. Yet, Jung Yumin himself was unable to evade the lightning chains unleashed by Min Jae-hyun. All he could do was rely on magical barriers to barely withstand the assault. At that moment, Min Jae-hyun activated absolute calculation once more. With his magic shield stripped away, Jung Yumin could no longer endure the direct strikes of the lightning chains. After finishing Jung Yumin off, Min Jae-hyun collapsed to the ground as well. The battle had completely drained both his stamina and his mana. The mythical grade item he had only just obtained now seemed destined to leave the world together with him. Then, at that critical moment, a brand new operating system finished downloading. It granted Min Jae-hyun a chance to return to the past. With no other option left, Min Jae-hyun could only comply with the system's execution command. Thus, the Nanyel system officially came online. As his consciousness faded, Min Jae-hyun thought he saw angels. Their voices echoed with the chant of some ancient, unfamiliar magic. Slowly, they reached out their hands toward him. Without hesitation, Min Jae-hyun reached back and took an angel's hand. At that moment, the Nanyel system notified Min Jae-hyun that he had become the greatest enemy of the Asura race, and that he had acquired 2 passive skills, Divine Gaze and Absolute Eye. When Min Jae-hyun opened his eyes, he found himself back in a place he knew all too well. He jolted upright and immediately began scanning his surroundings. That was when he saw the photo of himself and his mother on the desk. For a moment, Min Jae-hyun couldn't tell whether all of this was just a dream. But even if everything before him was nothing more than a dying illusion, he was willing to stay in it forever. Because here, his mother, long gone in reality, was still alive. That said, his physical condition had only recovered to 20%. The first mission issued by the Nanyel system was to restore his stamina to 80% with a blank card as the reward. For now, Min Jae-hyun's priority was to confirm exactly what point in time he was in. The moment he picked up the calendar, a smile spread across his face. He had returned to the day before college applications were submitted. This time, he would never repeat the same mistake he had made in his previous life. When it came time to eat, Min Jae-hyun finally failed to hold back his tears. Scenes that had replayed countless times in his dreams were now unfolding right in front of him. His mother, however, grew worried that something might be troubling him. The usually quiet child had broken down, crying so hard that morning when she was about to leave. Unable to hold back her concern, she asked, "Min Jae-hyun, is something bothering you?" Min Jae-hyun smiled and replied, "No, I just had a nightmare while I was asleep. A nightmare I never want to see again. Mom, there's actually something I've been wanting to tell you, that I want to change my major to magic." His mother was stunned. After all, Min Jae-hyun had always been firmly set on the martial path before. Still, she knew he wouldn't joke about something like this. So she gently reassured him, "Do what you truly want. Earning money matters, but what matters more to me is that you live the life you want. Whether you become a mage or something else, I'll always support you." Min Jae-hyun knew this wasn't the time to cry yet. He still had to take revenge on his father, an A-rank awakener. To do that, he needed to complete the missions issued by the Nanyel system as soon as possible. After finishing the task, Min Jae-hyun obtained another blank card. His current advantage lay in his knowledge of hidden stages and exclusive manuals. However, all of his skills were still martial-based, so he decided to check his system interface first. His level had now reverted to level 7, and all of his attributes had been reset. Yet one thing puzzled him. Why hadn't his passive skills been reset as well? It turned out that due to the effect of Divine Gaze, his pre-reincarnation passive skills had been preserved. Moreover, every time he leveled up, all of his base attributes would increase by 1. As for the other passive skill, Absolute Eye, Min Jae-hyun couldn't yet understand what it actually did. In the end, he decided to distribute his available stat points first. For mages, mana was undeniably important, but stamina was actually the real foundation. While stamina didn't directly boost combat power, it drastically slowed the onset of exhaustion. The most urgent question now was which skill to learn next, because even the strongest defensive magic was useless without enough mana to sustain high-tier spells. Given that reality, the optimal choice was to learn a healing-type skill first. At this stage, mages still held a very low social standing, nowhere near the treatment martial types received. Healing-type awakeners, however, were a completely different matter. Wherever they went, they were treated almost like nobility and welcomed by every kind of team. Once he mastered a healing skill, Min Jae-hyun wouldn't be looked down on anywhere he went. The real problem was how to find a healing-type awakener in the first place. Just then, Min Jae-hyun's phone rang, and he couldn't help wondering who would be calling him at a time like this. The moment he picked it up, he froze. The caller was none other than his childhood friend, Kim Yoo-jong. They had grown up together since childhood. They had entered Milan's academy together, both dreaming of becoming raiders. But in the end, Kim Yoo-jong had died in Min Jae-hyun's arms. Fortunately, this time around, Min Jae-hyun had a chance to change that fate. Kim Yoo-jong was calling to ask him to accompany her to meet the Saintess. After all, Saintess Lu Xingyin was the strongest healing-type awakener alive today. Her most iconic spell was a magic known as Sacrifice. With someone like her in the picture, Min Jae-hyun no longer needed to seek out any other healing-type awakeners. After briefly greeting his mother, Min Jae-hyun set off without delay. At the same time, Lu Xingyin was seated inside a Rolls-Royce, on her way to the event venue. Along the way, Park Seong-ji kept urging her to cut back on these unnecessary appearances. After all, the spell Sacrifice didn't consume Lu Xingyin's mana. It burned through her very life force. If she kept attending events like this, she might collapse sooner rather than later, unless someone else capable of using Sacrifice could be found. Before long, the venue was filled, and everyone waited for Lu Xingyin to appear. Hello, everyone. I'm Lu Xingyin. Right now, the entire world is facing an unprecedented disaster. The emergence of the world tree Yggdrasil and the monsters that followed has claimed countless lives. At present, fewer than 20% of awakeners are willing to become raiders. Yet the number of deaths is several times higher than that. The world still stands at a crossroads between survival and extinction, and countless innocent lives are hanging in the balance. What we need now is courage. Awakeners of the world, your courage alone has the power to change everything. For a brighter tomorrow, the Lotus Guild and I will give you our full support. After the speech ended, Min Jae-hyun found an excuse to part ways with Kim Yoo-jong. His goal was to seize the opportunity to get close to Lu Xingyin. After some searching, Min Jae-hyun finally spotted Lu Xingyin's car. He stepped forward and said calmly, "I'm here to see Chairwoman Lu Xingyin." Park Seong-ji assumed Min Jae-hyun was just another overzealous raider fan. He was about to dismiss him with a few perfunctory words, when Min Jae-hyun spoke evenly. "I'm not her fan. I know Chairwoman Lu Xingyin is suffering from incurable illness. And right now, I'm the only one who can cure her." The moment he finished speaking, Park Seong-ji grabbed Min Jae-hyun by the collar and demanded coldly, "Tell me, how do you know all of this?" Just then, Lu Xingyin's car window rolled down, and she asked calmly, "Can you take responsibility for what you just said?" Min Jae-hyun answered without hesitation, "Yes, that I can cure your condition, Chairwoman." Seeing how confident he was, Lu Xingyin decided to believe him for now. "Get in the car. There are too many people here. We'll talk somewhere quiet." Soon, Min Jae-hyun was brought into a conference room at the Lotus Guild. Lu Sheng-in asked directly, "How did you find out that I'm terminally ill?" Min Jae-hyun replied, "That's not something I can explain freely. If you insist, I can tell you. But if I do, I won't treat you." Lu Sheng-in let out a soft sigh. "You're a sharp one. All right, then tell me. How do you plan to cure me?" Min Jae-hyun stated plainly, "I intend to copy your sacrifice skill." The words stunned Lu Sheng-in into silence. Park Seong-ji finally snapped and stepped forward. "Chairwoman, don't listen to this nonsense. Do you even know what kind of skill sacrifice is, kid? You're talking out of line." Sacrifice was Lu Sheng-in's exclusive skill, a unique ability ranked even higher than S rank, one that could only be inherited through bloodline and could not be copied. Min Jae-hyun responded calmly, "Please relax. If I couldn't do it, I wouldn't be standing here." Lu Sheng-in looked at him and asked, "You're saying you'll use my sacrifice to heal me? If you're going that far, then prove it to me." As soon as she finished speaking, Lu Sheng-in activated sacrifice. Without a moment's hesitation, Min Jae-hyun used a blank card to copy the skill. "It seems you still don't trust me, so I'll earn that trust first." As he spoke, Min Jae-hyun immediately activated the sacrifice skill he had just copied. Because the skill had been obtained through a blank card, its side effects did not apply to Min Jae-hyun at all. For a moment, both Yoo Seon-jin and Park Seong-ji were left speechless. "All right," Min Jae-hyun said calmly. "Now we can sit down and talk properly." Yoo Seon-jin looked at him and asked, "What do you want from our guild?" After all, the ability to cure Yoo Seon-jin alone was enough to put Min Jae-hyun on equal footing with her. Min Jae-hyun answered honestly, "I want you to become my sponsor." Yoo Seon-jin pondered for a moment before speaking. "If you dare to make a request like that, it means you're worth investing in, and you've clearly proven that you have the ability. However, I also have a condition. My illness is a personal matter and has nothing to do with the Lotus Guild itself. But what you're asking for isn't just my personal backing. It's the support of the entire Lotus Guild. We don't help anyone without reason, unless you're willing to join the Lotus Guild." Min Jae-hyun had expected strict limitations, but instead received an outright invitation. Yoo Seon-jin continued, "Don't worry. I'm not the kind of person who jokes about matters like this. There are several reasons why I want you to join our guild. First, you somehow knew that I, the chairwoman of the Lotus Guild, am suffering from a chronic illness. Without exceptional intelligence gathering capabilities, it would be impossible to know something that confidential. Second, you were able to perfectly replicate my sacrifice skill. To this day, no one has ever managed to copy an exclusive skill. Your future holds limitless potential. Third, you're standing in front of me right now without the slightest hint of nervousness. A kid who can remain this calm before the chairwoman of the Lotus Guild. That alone makes you incredibly compelling. Do you think those reasons are enough for me to recruit you?" Hearing this, Min Jae-hyun couldn't help recalling his past life. The Lotus Guild had once been among the strongest guilds in the nation. Yet after Lu Sheng-in fell critically ill, it collapsed with shocking speed due to unknown reasons. If he joined the Lotus Guild now, he would undoubtedly receive top-tier treatment and resources. For growth, joining a guild was practically unavoidable. After some thought, Min Jae-hyun voiced another concern. "I'm still a minor. Isn't it illegal to sign a guild contract with an underage student?" Lu Sheng-in replied, "Have you heard of the right of first negotiation? Just give me your address, that I'll have the contract delivered to your home so you can think it over carefully before deciding." Min Jae-hyun stood up immediately. "Then let me treat you first." As he spoke, he moved behind Lu Sheng-in. Park Seong-ji's heart was pounding with tension. For Lu Sheng-in's illness, he had sought out countless healing-type awakeners. Even experts who had devoted their entire lives to medicine were powerless. Now, his final hope rested entirely on Min Jae-hyun. To his astonishment, Lu Sheng-in's condition began improving at a visible rate. Park Seong-ji bowed deeply at once. "I sincerely apologize for earlier. Chairwoman Yu is in your hands." Min Jae-hyun waved it off. "It's fine. If I were you, I wouldn't believe a kid that easily either." After the treatment concluded, Min Jae-hyun's passive skill, Emergency Healing, successfully rose to level 19. Under the gaze of the two men, Lu Shengyin slowly walked to the window. She looked down at her body, now brimming with renewed vitality. Crystal-clear tears slid from the corner of her eyes. The illness that plagued me for so many years, it's really gone. Thank you, but after curing me, you should be affected by side effects, shouldn't you? Min Jaehyun replied with a smile. I'm fine. When the time comes, you can just heal me again, chairwoman. Lu Shengyin answered without hesitation. Of course that I can heal you anytime. She handed him her business card. I'll do my best to meet any conditions you ask for, and I also hope you'll think carefully about what we discussed earlier. Looking at the card in his hand, Min Jaehyun raised his head. Chairwoman, there is something I'd like to ask of you right now. Early the next morning, Park Seong-ji personally drove over to pick Min Jaehyun up. It turned out Min Jaehyun wanted to use the Lotus Guild's low-level dungeons to raise his level quickly. After all, Milan's academy was a place where countless geniuses gathered. To survive there, leveling up was unavoidable. For this raid, the Lotus Guild prepared a fair amount of supplies for Min Jaehyun. However, due to the tight schedule, they could only provide some surplus guild equipment for now. Even so, Park Seong-ji was still worried about Min Jaehyun's safety. After all, even an E-rank dungeon was dangerous for someone going in alone. Min Jaehyun explained, Don't worry, I'm just trying to level up. Left with no choice, Park Seong-ji opened his system interface. He took out a teleport stone and said solemnly, Take this. IT will ensure your safety. Crush it, and you'll be returned to the dungeon entrance immediately. If you run into danger, use it right away. Please accept it. Consider my apology for yesterday's rudeness. Also, please consider this a small token of thanks for curing the chairwoman. With Park Seong-ji putting it that way, Min Jaehyun found it hard to refuse and accepted it. The moment he arrived at the dungeon entrance, he felt a surge of mana spilling out from within. Judging by that alone, this was indeed an E-rank dungeon. A dungeon of this level posed no real problem for him. From behind, Park Seong-ji reminded him once again, Remember, if you run into danger, use the teleport stone immediately. Yet the instant Min Jaehyun stepped inside the dungeon, he sensed a violent disturbance in the surrounding mana. Several claws formed from condensed mana suddenly appeared and bound him in place. Before he could even process what was happening, a system notification rang out. Due to the influence of the Nanyel system, the user would be transported to a designated location. In the next moment, Min Jaehyun was forcibly sent to Helheim, the realm of the dead. Meanwhile, back at the Lotus Guild, Lu Shengyin was growing worried about Min Jaehyun taking on a dungeon alone. After all, even an E-rank dungeon was nearly impossible for a pre-raider to clear solo, and Min Jaehyun hadn't even fully matured yet. Still, recalling the abilities he had shown earlier, she managed to ease her worries somewhat. Just then, her secretary, Park Hannah, walked in. Handing over a folder, she said, This contains all of Min Jaehyun's personal information. Lu Shengyin took the documents and began reading through them carefully. Very quickly, she was stunned. Someone capable of wielding such powerful magic had actually listed martial type as his chosen major. Before long, Lu Shengyin froze in place. She even began to question the authenticity of the report. Min Jaehyun's magic aptitude score was an astonishing 97%. She immediately called Park Seong-ji. Appa, if Min Jaehyun makes it out of the dungeon, she ordered, tell him to come see me right away. I want to personally confirm what that kid is truly capable of. Meanwhile, Min Jaehyun, having been transported by the Nanyel system, stood within the realm of the dead. One glance at his surroundings told him this was absolutely not an E-rank dungeon. Just as he began surveying the area, a black-robed figure concealed within the fog slowly raised a bow. In the next instant, a pitch-black arrow shot straight toward Min Jaehyun. Sensing the attack, he twisted his head aside and narrowly avoided it. He immediately turned toward the direction the arrow had come from. There, the black-robed archer calmly drew another arrow from the quiver. The bow was raised once more, aimed directly at Min Jaehyun. Before the arrow could be released, Min Jae-hyun activated Sacrifice, healing his own injuries. At that moment, a hand suddenly burst out of the ground. At the same time, a ghost had appeared behind Min Jae-hyun without him even noticing. In an instant, 3 completely different types of monsters surrounded him. And right then, another arrow from the black-robed figure came flying straight toward him. This time, Min Jae-hyun calmly drew his sword into his hand. Even so, defeating all of these enemies would be anything but easy. Sacrifice was devastating against undead creatures, but the higher its level, the greater the mana cost. If he encountered even stronger monsters later, his situation would become extremely dangerous. Because of that, he had no choice but to rely on the combat experience he'd accumulated as a martial fighter in his previous life. His understanding of mage combat was still limited, and these enemies were the perfect chance to use real battle as practice. Perhaps due to the level gap, Min Jae-hyun realized that these monsters weren't as overwhelming as he'd expected. Even with his current strength, he could still handle the situation with ease. Gripping his staff, he charged straight forward. With a brutal swing, he smashed it directly into the black-robed man's forehead. That single strike, however, shattered his staff completely. At the same moment, the scythe-wielding ghost and the ghoul swordsman rushed in together. Left with no other option, Min Jae-hyun activated Sacrifice once more to counterattack. In almost an instant, both monsters were reduced to ashes within the holy light. The massive mana drain caused Min Jae-hyun to collapse to the ground. If he hadn't leveled up at that exact moment, his situation would have been truly perilous. He knew very well that his current strength wasn't enough to clear this dungeon. Just as he was about to teleport away, a bone-chilling dread suddenly washed over him. Min Jae-hyun could clearly sense that something was closing in. The sheer pressure of that presence made it hard for him to even breathe. He stabbed his staff into his own thigh, forcing himself to regain a shred of clarity. At that moment, he noticed a shadow suddenly appear on the ground. Min Jae-hyun turned around sharply. Standing there was the dungeon's Demon King, Nightshade. System alert. The level difference between the user and the Demon King is too great, entering critical danger state. Please evacuate the dungeon immediately. Min Jae-hyun knew he had no chance of fighting the Demon King head-on. He instantly opened his system storage and pulled out the teleportation stone. But the moment it appeared, the Demon King's overwhelming pressure reached his back, pinning him in place. As the Demon King unleashed its attack, Min Jae-hyun was blasted away. He was now critically injured, his HP plunging into the danger zone. Before that absolute power, he didn't even have the chance to activate the teleportation stone. Min Jae-hyun slowly closed his eyes, prepared to accept his fate. Yet when he opened them again, time itself had stopped. Suddenly, a voice echoed from the distance. "No, you can't do that." A woman stepped out from the void, continuing calmly. "That kid was brought here by me personally. He's a distinguished guest, chosen by fate to become a rebel." Min Jae-hyun couldn't help but wonder who the woman in front of him really was. At the same time, she was carefully examining him. So this is the kid who took down other rebels, just a greenhorn. Average bones, nothing remarkable. His mana reserves weren't bad, but standing against the gods, he was still far from it. She couldn't understand why Loki would choose a kid like him. Meanwhile, blood loss was slowly clouding Min Jae-hyun's consciousness. But his revenge was still unfinished. He absolutely couldn't fall here. Looking into his unwavering eyes, she spoke calmly. "I do like that look in your eyes. That said, you're still far too weak, and time is running out. You need to grow stronger and fast. If you fail to do so before hell descends again, I'll erase you myself. Your existence is important to us, so I'll grant you one more chance. Use it well, become stronger than you are now. Then come back and defeat the Demon King Nightshade standing before you. If you succeed, I'll give you a very special reward. But you only have 2 months. Fail, and you know exactly what awaits you." Just like that, Min Jae-hyun was forced to accept Hell's task. Her final words were cold and absolute. "Remember, if I don't see growth from you during this time, I'll personally send you to the underworld. Good luck, child chosen by Nornir." when Min Jae-hyun opened his eyes again. He found himself back at the dungeon entrance. All of his injuries had been miraculously healed. Yet the quest log inside the Nanyel system made one thing clear. Everything that had just happened was real. The woman he encountered was none other than Hell, the death goddess who ruled over the 9 worlds. Min Jae-hyun still couldn't fully make sense of her words. But one thing was absolutely certain. He had to grow stronger, fast. If what Hell said was true, then the moment he stopped moving forward, he'd be erased without hesitation. Defeating the Demon King Nightshade within 2 months, however, was no simple task. At his current level, he wasn't even familiar with how a true mage was supposed to fight. To build a solid foundation, the best option was gaining support from Lotus Guild and Lu Shengyin. Just then, Park Sung-jae beat him to it, scheduling a meeting with Lu Shengyin for the next day. Early the following morning, Park Sung-jae brought Min Jae-hyun to the Lotus Guild. Min Jae-hyun had a strong suspicion. They had likely seen his awakening evaluation report. Despite possessing near-perfect magic affinity, he had chosen the martial path instead. The reason was simple. Media outlets had relentlessly praised martial awakeners, while magic users were painted as useless, leaving him with little reason to choose otherwise. Before long, the two of them arrived at the training grounds of the Lotus Guild. The moment Min Jae-hyun saw Lu Shengyin, he froze for a brief second. Lu Shengyin smiled and said, "You finally made it that I've been waiting for you. What do you think about the contract terms? I believe the conditions I offered are fairly generous." In truth, the terms Lu Shengyin offered were overwhelmingly in Min Jae-hyun's favor, benefits comparable to, or even better than, what most A-rank raiders received. Min Jae-hyun replied without hesitation, "I already told Manager Park, before signing with you, I have one additional request." Lu Shengyin wasn't surprised at all. She smiled calmly. "That's fine, go ahead. What is it?" Min Jae-hyun continued. "Before I say it, I'm sure you've already reviewed my profile that I switched from the martial path to magic less than a month ago. So I'm still unfamiliar with how magic is truly meant to be used. Chairwoman Lu, I want you to personally teach me magic. After all, Lu Shengyin was one of the very few S-rank raiders in the world." Standing beside them, Park Sung-jae never expected Min Jae-hyun to make such a bold request. Min Jae-hyun added seriously, "If you can't accept this condition, then I'll sign the priority negotiation contract with the Lotus Guild." Lu Shengyin chuckled softly. "That's a rather interesting request. I can agree to it. After all, I do find you quite intriguing. But before that, I'd like to confirm your actual capabilities. You don't mind, do you?" Min Jae-hyun had anticipated this from the start. Given how favorable the offer was, it was only natural for the Lotus Guild to test his strength first. From Lu Shengyin's expression, Park Sung-jae immediately understood her intent. Another serious trial was about to begin. Lu Shengyin snapped her fingers softly. A vast surge of mana erupted from behind her. "As you can see," she said, "this is the mana cube. From this moment on, your task is to conquer it." The mana cube was normally used only by B rank and above magic type raiders to test mana resonance, and fewer than 7% ever succeeded. Looking at Min Jae-hyun, Lu Shengyin continued, "Perfect for showing your true strength, don't you think? If someone is worthy of a priority negotiation contract with the Lotus Guild, they should at least reach this level." Min Jae-hyun replied calmly, "Sounds like you're trying to take the edge off my confidence." Lu Shengyin smiled faintly. "Why would I? Even if you fail, I'll still sign the contract with you, under the same terms that I guarantee that as the chairwoman of the Lotus Guild." She then turned to Park Sung-jae. "Sung-jae, make the preparations." Park Sung-jae hesitated. "Chairwoman, even most magic-type raiders struggle with the mana cube. Mr. Min hasn't fully matured yet." Lu Shengyin asked calmly, "Do you really think the child standing before us is ordinary? Relax, he's worth the attempt." With that, Park Sung-jae activated the mana cube for Min Jae-hyun. Min Jae-hyun had heard of the mana cube in his previous life, but seeing it in person was still deeply shocking. Lu Shengyin encouraged him gently. "Whenever you're ready, begin. I'm looking forward to your results." Under their watchful gazes, Min Jae-hyun slowly stepped into the mana cube. Park Sung-jae murmured. To be honest, I'm still worried. I understand your curiosity, chairwoman, but he's still just a kid. Lu Xingyin answered without hesitation. Trust me that he'll succeed. Park Sung-jae asked, puzzled, why are you so sure? Lu Xingyin smiled softly. A woman's intuition, perhaps. Her eyes remained fixed on the MangaCube. Let's see how long it takes you to escape from inside. Inside the MangaCube, with a mere 7% success rate, lay a vast ocean formed entirely of condensed mana. Mana is essential for using skills, but remaining in an area with excessively high mana density for too long can rapidly impair the heart and lungs, sometimes even proving fatal. There was only one way to escape this place. He had to locate the single exit connecting to the outside world, hidden among countless mana vortices. Min Jae-hyun forced himself to calm down and began carefully sensing the fluctuations in the surrounding mana. Soon, he noticed something unusual within one of the vortices ahead. When he moved closer, he realized it was a crystal. It felt as though it carried the core mana of the entire ocean. Meanwhile, outside the cube, Park Sung-jae spoke quietly. Judging by your expression, it seems you're confident Min Jae-hyun will make it out. How long do you think it'll take him? Lu Xingyin answered calmly. It took me 40 minutes back then, and that was the fastest record nationwide. Hearing this, Park Sung-jae understood immediately. Then there are only two possibilities. Either he gets trapped inside the mana cube, or he sets a brand new record. Lu Xingyin nodded. And I don't think Min Jae-hyun will crawl out in a miserable state. But in the very next second, her eyes widened in shock. Sung-jae, look over there. At her words, Park Sung-jae immediately turned his gaze toward the mana cube. It turned out that the mana cube was already showing clear signs of structural collapse. Outside, the two of them exchanged stunned looks. After all, only 10 minutes had passed since Min Jae-hyun entered the cube. They couldn't help but wonder what on earth he had experienced inside. Meanwhile, inside the cube, the moment Min Jae-hyun discovered the crystal, he instinctively knew it was the key to clearing the mana cube. Without hesitation, he grabbed the crystal in his hand. As it shattered under his grip, the vast ocean formed entirely of mana collapsed in an instant. At the same time, Min Jae-hyun acquired a brand new passive skill, Essence of Mana Mastery. What happened next left the two people outside utterly stunned. The mana cube had a mere 7% escape rate, and most who succeeded took over 3 hours on average. Even the S-rank raider Lu Xingyin had needed nearly 40 minutes, while the fastest record holder, Camilla, cleared it in 36. Yet now, that record had been completely shattered by Min Jae-hyun. He had beaten the world record by a full 26 minutes. Park Sung-jae rushed forward and grabbed Min Jae-hyun's hand, exclaiming, "Unbelievable! You did it in just 10 minutes." Lu Xingyin immediately stepped closer and asked seriously, "Mr. Min Jae-hyun, may I ask, how did you escape the mana cube so quickly?" Min Jae-hyun answered honestly, "I found a crystal inside. After I broke it, I was out." Lu Xingyin grabbed his hand in excitement and pressed him urgently. "What? You shattered it? You actually broke the crystal?" That crystal contained all the mana within the mana cube. An ordinary awakener couldn't even locate it, let alone destroy it. Which meant that the mana inside Min Jae-hyun's body was even more powerful than the mana crystal itself. Smiling brightly, Lu Xingyin said, "Mr. Min Jae-hyun, congratulations, you've passed the test. From today onward, I'll stake the future of the Lotus Guild and my own reputation on turning you into the greatest mage in the world. Are you ready?" The scene shifted. Kim Yoo-young was waiting outside with Min Jae-hyun's mother for him to come home. At that moment, a Rolls-Royce slowly pulled up in front of them. The next second, Min Jae-hyun stepped out of the car. For a brief moment, neither of them could believe what they were seeing. They even started wondering whether Min Jae-hyun had been taken in by some rich woman. Combined with his recent string of unusual behavior, Kim Yoo-young's doubts only grew stronger. Not only had he once stepped out of a mysterious luxury car, he had also abandoned the martial combat path he'd clung to for years. Although Min Jae-hyun claimed he switched to magic because he wasn't suited for martial combat, Kim Yoo-young, who knew him extremely well, didn't believe that explanation at all. After all, Min Jae-hyun had originally chosen martial combat, so his mother wouldn't have to suffer anymore. Min Jae-hyun cut her off. That's enough. Let's stop talking about this. By the way, why are you at my place? Are your parents away on another business trip? Kim Yoo-young replied, "Yet that's why I came to hang out with you." Annie said I could stay here for the night before leaving. After all, Kim Yoo-young was a bona fide rich kid. Her parents sold magical products to countries all over the world, so they were constantly traveling overseas on business. Because of that, Kim Yoo-young often ended up home alone. And since Min Jae-hyun's mother was very close to her parents, Kim Yoo-young frequently stayed over at Min Jae-hyun's place. Min Jae-hyun then asked, "Since you're staying here anyway, how about using this chance to teach me some basic magic theory?" Kim Yoo-young shot back, "What, you want me to teach you for free?" Min Jae-hyun countered, "What do you want in return? Say it first, then I'll decide if I can agree." Kim Yoo-young paused to think seriously. "Now that you mention it, I actually haven't decided yet. How about this? Help me fulfill one wish, and no matter what I wish for, you have to help me make it happen." Min Jae-hyun replied, "Fine, but the promise only lasts for 1 year. If you don't make your wish within that year, it's void." Kim Yoo-young pouted, "You're so stingy, fine deal." Only then did Min Jae-hyun relax. He knew Kim Yoo-young wasn't exactly great at remembering things. Give it a year, and she'd probably forget all about it. Seeing the sly grin on Min Jae-hyun's face, Kim Yoo-young grabbed a pillow beside her and hurled it straight at him. In the past, Min Jae-hyun would have fired right back without hesitation. But after everything he'd been through, this quiet, warm, everyday moment felt unexpectedly precious to him. At the same time, a powerful raider was clearing a dungeon. Monster corpses were already piled high at his feet. That man was none other than Min Jae-hyun's father, Min Sung-woo. A raider beside him said, "Thanks to you, we cleared that monster with ease. It's been a long time since a hunt went this smoothly. If you joined our guild, we'd be even stronger. Would you consider joining us? With your ability, the Scarlet Guild would definitely offer you the best treatment." The next instant, however, the man felt a terrifying presence erupt from Min Sung-woo. Min Sung-woo slowly turned around, his eyes hollow and empty, while the raider found himself bound tightly by invisible chains. Min Sung-woo said coldly, "Filthy and shameless, overflowing with despicable greed. I suppose this truly is human nature." No, it's not limited to humans alone. After Min Sung-woo vanished, the man lost all memory of what had just happened. The scene shifted back to the Lotus Guild that on the first day after Min Jae-hyun signed the agreement, Lu Sheng-in decided to test his combat sense and instincts. The method of testing was simple: live combat against her. Cold sweat beaded on Min Jae-hyun's forehead, starting with real combat right away. "Isn't that a bit too much?" Lu Sheng-in smiled. "That doesn't really sound like something you should be saying, that you're the one who escaped the cube in just 10 minutes. Come on, make your move." Min Jae-hyun said nothing and took a fighting stance. Lu Sheng-in recognized it instantly, a textbook martial type opening. Min Jae-hyun stepped in and threw a powerful straight punch. To his surprise, Lu Sheng-in caught it with ease. He hadn't expected his attack to be completely shut down. After all, Lu Sheng-in was a magic type raider. When a strike failed, he quickly pulled back to create distance. Lu Sheng-in said bluntly, "You still haven't figured something out, that you're no longer the martial type fighter you used to be. So tell me, what do you think is the biggest difference between martial types and mages?" Min Jae-hyun answered, "Martial types fight up close, mages fight from range." Lu Sheng-in nodded. "That's right. Traditionally, magic-type raiders weaken their enemies from a distance before committing to the fight. It's the safest and most reliable approach. But you keep trying to close in. For a mage with low defenses, that's a fast way to get taken out. What you're lacking right now is real combat experience as a mage." Lu Sheng-in said, "From now on, I'll be attacking you as well. But don't worry, I won't seriously injure you. After all, I'm a healer. I know that wasn't your real strength just now. Now let me see what you're truly capable of." Before the words had even faded, Lu Xinyan's attack shot straight toward Min Jaehyun. Relying purely on instinct, Min Jaehyun barely managed to dodge it. All right, now it's your turn to attack. A crackle of electricity suddenly flared around Min Jaehyun. In an instant, 3 lightning chains lashed out toward Lu Xingyan. Yet she remained perfectly still. At that distance, there was no way she should have been able to evade the strike. And yet, the next moment, she appeared behind him. So, it's A-rank lightning chains that you've been hiding quite a lot. Immediately after, her counterattack was already upon him. No matter how powerful a skill is, it's meaningless if it doesn't suit its user. Still, you've genuinely surprised me. I deliberately toned the spell down, yet you're still standing. So tell me, can you handle this one? In Lu Xingyan's judgment, Min Jaehyun's current condition left him no chance of dodging the next attack. But for the sake of instruction, she released the skill without hesitation. Unexpectedly, her sacred arrow dissipated in midair. Before her attack could even reach him, Min Jaehyun had already activated absolute calculation, shattering her spell mid-cast. Lu Xingyan stared at the scene in disbelief. "You really never stop surprising me," she said quietly. "Just how many more surprises are you hiding?" Min Jaehyun grinned. "Hard to say, who knows?" The moment his words fell, a lightning chain burst violently from ground. Lu Xingyan reacted instantly, throwing up a barrier that barely blocked the strike. Even so, the impact left her arm trembling. Before she could counterattack, several more lightning chains materialized behind Min Jaehyun. Only then did she realize something terrifying. He didn't seem to need incantations to cast his skills at all. That was far beyond what a novice magic-type awakener should be capable of. At the same time, Min Jaehyun's mana reserves were nearly exhausted. "You really are gifted," Lu Xingyan said calmly, "but you're still too raw." Before Min Jaehyun could even process what happened, he was already on the ground. "You didn't actually think you could beat me, did you?" Despite her words, Lu Xingyan immediately reached down and pulled him back to his feet. That battle made Min Jaehyun fully aware of the gap between himself and an S rank. Yet to Lu Xingyan, what she saw in him was limitless potential. "Your fighting style just gave me an idea," she said. "One that everyone has considered, but no one has ever pulled off. Only you can use it. From now on, call me your teacher. Congratulations, you're my first disciple." When Min Jaehyun returned home, the battle still replayed endlessly in his mind. Beside him, Kim Yoo-young snapped, "Hey Min Jaehyun, are you even listening to me? If you keep spacing out like this, I'm not tutoring you anymore. Now that you're back with us, let's get to the point." There were countless branches of magic, but only 3 truly mattered: combat magic, buff magic, and healing magic. As Min Jaehyun's understanding of magic deepened, the Nanyel system began triggering pop-up notifications more and more frequently. It felt as if the system itself was urging him to grow faster. Kim Yoo-young sighed. "You're seriously impressive. Spells that take others a whole month to learn. You master them in just 2 days." Min Jaehyun replied casually, "So what? You learned them in 3 days too." Kim Yoo-young's eyes reddened slightly as her emotions surfaced. "I started learning magic a long time ago, but your growth rate really makes me anxious to AT this pace. It's only a matter of time before you catch up to me." What she didn't know was that Min Jaehyun was even more anxious than she was. After all, he had already wagered his life against the goddess of death. Kim Yoo-young continued, "Do you have any idea how shocked I was when you decided to switch to the martial type path? Even if the magic type doesn't pay as well, you shouldn't have ignored such an absurdly high compatibility." The instant Min Jaehyun turned his head, countless chains seemed to flood his vision. A man slowly emerged behind him. Step by step, the man walked up and stopped in front of Min Jaehyun. He leaned down and whispered something into Min Jaehyun's ear. In the next moment, Min Jaehyun snapped back to reality, only to hear Kim Yoo-young still talking. "By the way, you have been practicing real combat techniques too, right?" While dealing with Kim Yoo-young, Min Jaehyun replayed everything that had just happened in his mind. The strange encounter refused to fade. He couldn't tell whether what he saw had been an illusion or not. only that he had heard something deeply unsettling. But Min Jae-hyun had no time to dwell on it now. He had only 2 months left, unless he could obtain some kind of miracle that would shatter the current deadlock. Elsewhere, Park Seong-ji was patrolling the training grounds of the Lotus Guild. His job was to identify problems among new recruits and correct them before they took root. When Lu Xingyin arrived, Park Seong-ji immediately stepped forward to report on the day's training. Yet, Lu Xingyin seemed distracted the entire time. "You're thinking about Min Jae-hyun, aren't you?" Lu Xingyin smiled faintly. "As expected, nothing gets past you." Park Seong-ji continued, "If I remember correctly, the thing you intend to entrust to Min Jae-hyun, it's something countless raiders have challenged before, yet not a single one has ever succeeded." Lu Xingyin replied calmly, "You've seen his talent for yourself, haven't you? If the magic type ever produces a new S-rank raider, it will be him. And when that happens, he'll completely reshape the future of the magic type." The scene shifted. Min Jae-hyun was carefully attempting to refine a pill, his expression grim. Even though he already knew the formula, the result he produced by following it step by step was nothing short of poison. The truth was that this pill wouldn't be successfully created until 5 years later. And the genius alchemist who would invent it, Lee Jae-sang, a man whose creation boosted mana capacity and saved all of humanity, had chosen to release the formula to the public without conditions. Also, he could help hunters around the world. Left with no other choice, Min Jae-hyun decided he had to meet the present-day Lee Jae-sang in person. Perhaps, with his talent, the pill could be completed ahead of time. By the current timeline, Lee Jae-sang should still be a first-year student at Milan's academy. With that in mind, Min Jae-hyun prepared to head there overnight. At the station, the ticket clerk looked up and asked, "Where are you headed?" "One ticket to Daegu, please," Min Jae-hyun replied. Due to rampant monster activity, Daegu was currently under lockdown. Monsters had overrun the entire city. Entering it meant risking one's life the instant you stepped inside. Under such circumstances, there was only one reason someone would still travel to Daegu. They were a student of Milan's academy. Before long, Min Jae-hyun arrived at the academy grounds. Years later, walking through the familiar campus again, he felt no nostalgia at all. This place had brought him nothing but suffering during his youth. For now, however, his priority was finding Lee Jae-sang. Lee Jae-sang's father was the nation's first S-rank raider. Growing up beneath such a brilliant shadow, expectations had always weighed heavily on him. As a result, Lee Jae-sang had been assigned to the martial-type path, but his actual combat ability was far from outstanding, which meant that someone who hated fighting like him likely wouldn't be found at the training grounds. Just as Min Jae-hyun was about to try his luck in a classroom, a loud commotion suddenly broke out nearby. From the whispers of the onlookers, he quickly learned that a stuttering student was being bullied. Memories of his own past surfaced, and Min Jae-hyun decided to step into the mess. With a bit of force, he pushed his way through the crowd. Without hesitation, he opened the classroom door in front of him. At that exact moment, someone slammed straight into him. Realizing he had bumped into someone, the stuttering boy hurriedly apologized. Seeing this, a yellow-haired student sneered. "Who are you? What do you want with our little stutterer?" And the so-called little stutterer was none other than Lee Jae-sang. Min Jae-hyun asked instinctively, "Are you okay, Hyung?" Lee Jae-sang froze, clearly confused by the stranger's concern. The yellow-haired student laughed mockingly. "Oh, since when did the stutterer have a little brother? You two don't look alike at all. Never heard him mention family. I figured they were all eaten by monsters already. We've got important business here," he said as he reached out to shove Min Jae-hyun away. "If you don't want to see something ugly, get lost." Before he could finish, Min Jae-hyun slapped his hand aside. He then turned to Lee Jae-sang and said firmly, "You should go to the infirmary." Being completely ignored, the yellow-haired student snapped, grabbing Min Jae-hyun by the collar. "Are you blind? I'm talking to the stutterer. You looking to die?" Min Jae-hyun glanced at the hand, clutching his collar, and spoke coldly. "That's the second time you've touched me. Why do people keep grabbing my collar lately?" As he spoke, Min Jae-hyun recalled the magic theory Kim Yu-young had taught him. Then, He mirrored the way Lu Shangyin released her skills. In the next instant, a sacred arrow formed and slammed straight into the yellow-haired student. Wincing in pain, the yellow-haired student swung his sword straight at Min Jae-hyun. But in the very next instant, the blade was violently knocked away. It turned out Min Jae-hyun had just activated a magic field. Before the yellow-haired student could react, Min Jae-hyun grabbed him by the face. His expression turned icy. This ends now. Another sacred arrow struck, knocking the yellow-haired student unconscious on the spot. Seeing that his opponent was already incapacitated, Min Jae-hyun chose not to escalate things further and instead pulled out a potion to treat his injuries. The moment Lee Jae-sang saw the potion, panic flashed across his face. As the liquid was poured over the yellow-haired student's face, his wounds visibly began to heal. After that, Min Jae-hyun turned to Lee Jae-sang. "We should head to the infirmary now." Despite his words, the direction he walked in clearly wasn't toward the infirmary. He stopped in a secluded area nearby. There shouldn't be anyone around here, and no matter what we say, no one will hear us. Lee Jae-sang instinctively assumed Min Jae-hyun had been sent by his father. Even though Min Jae-hyun claimed he didn't know his father, the doubt in Lee Jae-sang's eyes made it clear he didn't believe him. He finally asked, "Why did you come looking for me?" Min Jae-hyun answered calmly, "There's something I want to ask of you. I want you to help me make a certain kind of drug." Lee Jae-sang waved his hands frantically. "I'm not making that kind of thing." Min Jae-hyun pressed him. "Aren't you good at alchemy? You're the one selling this drug on the black market, aren't you?" Lee Jae-sang froze. Black market dealings were supposed to be completely anonymous, yet the person standing in front of him had tracked him down anyway. Lee Jae-sang's mind was in turmoil. Who exactly was this person, and how had he tracked him down? Min Jae-hyun pressed again. "You made this drug, didn't you?" Lee Jae-sang grew visibly flustered. I don't know what you're talking about." Deep down, he was already regretting ever listing that potion on the black market. He had thought the transaction was flawless. Now it had turned into leverage hanging over his head. Finally, he pleaded in a low voice, "Please don't tell anyone about this." Min Jae-hyun replied calmly, "I'm not here to threaten you." As he spoke, he handed the potion to Lee Jae-sang. "I just need a truly capable alchemist to help me create the drug I need." Looking into Min Jae-hyun's sincere eyes, Lee Jae-sang realized he wasn't lying. After a brief silence, he asked, "Then who are you, really?" Min Jae-hyun answered honestly, "I'm an incoming student at Milan's academy. My name is Min Jae-hyun." Lee Jae-sang thought for a moment before saying, "All right, tell me exactly what you want." Soon after, the two arrived at Lee Jae-sang's workshop. Lee Jae-sang asked, "What kind of drug do you want me to make?" Min Jae-hyun answered without hesitation, "A pill that can permanently increase mana capacity." Lee Jae-sang was stunned. Permanent enhancement? That's impossible. But in the very next moment, his mind kicked into overdrive as he began analyzing the required materials. Min Jae-hyun noticed the change immediately. The stutter was gone, and with nothing but the requirement, Lee Jae-sang was already deducing most of the core ingredients. Just then, Lee Jae-sang stopped thinking altogether and said dejectedly, "A drug this powerful? You should ask another alchemist." Min Jae-hyun answered without hesitation, "I only want to ask you that I'll provide everything you need." He knew full well that even with a complete formula, most alchemists still wouldn't be able to create that pill. Lee Jae-sang possessed a talent no other alchemist could match. Still, Lee Jae-sang lacked confidence. "I understand, but I can't guarantee it'll succeed." Min Jae-hyun replied immediately, "That's fine. Failure is fine too." Lee Jae-sang asked, confused, "But if it fails, won't you suffer a loss?" Min Jae-hyun explained calmly, "I'm willing to trust your ability, and investments always come with risk, don't they?" Hearing this, Lee Jae-sang's eyes welled with tears. It was the first time anyone had ever trusted him so completely. From the day he was born, he had always lived under his father's shadow. Compared to his brothers, he had never shown outstanding combat talent. Because of that, he had never earned his father's approval. That was why Min Jae-hyun's trust struck so deeply at his heart. As the days passed, Min Jae-hyun grew increasingly familiar with a mage's fighting style. Now, he was no longer easily defeated by Lu Shengin. At times, he could even gain the upper hand in battle. On occasion, he could last the entire time limit without losing to her. Even so, Min Jae-hyun still couldn't be certain he could defeat the Demon King Nightshade. Before setting out, he went to see Lee Jae-sang once more, and Lee Jae-sang did not disappoint. He successfully completed the pill. After Min Jae-hyun swallowed the pill, his mana increased by 15 points. Min Jae-hyun said happily, "See, I told you, you really are talented." Lee Jae-sang replied shyly, "That's only because you trusted me." Seeing how exhausted he looked, Min Jae-hyun added, "Get some rest. You look like you haven't slept in days." Lee Jae-sang rubbed his tired eyes and said, "If you ever need anything again, come find me." After a brief exchange, Min Jae-hyun left Lee Jae-sang's workshop. Tomorrow would be the day he had promised the goddess of death. At that moment, Hell spoke softly, "I have a feeling we're about to receive a very special guest." Early the next morning, Min Jae-hyun arrived at the dungeon gate once more. Once everything was ready, Park Seong-ji opened the dungeon entrance. And just like that, Min Jae-hyun entered the dungeon alone again. With his previous experience, the teleportation this time caused him no panic at all. Soon, he arrived at the realm of the dead. As long as he could defeat the Demon King Nightshade, he would uncover the truth behind his rebirth. At that moment, a cold glow flickered in the distance. It turned out to be a skeletal archer, its bow fully drawn, the arrow locked squarely onto Min Jae-hyun. But the current Min Jae-hyun was nothing like before. He had mastered combat techniques from 2 different class paths. Normally, someone like that would lose in close combat to martial types and fall short at long range compared to magic types. Caught between the two, such fighters were usually considered unfocused and inefficient. Yet, Lu Shengin firmly believed that if that person was Min Jae-hyun, the rules no longer applied. Meanwhile, outside the dungeon, Park Seong-ji was quietly waiting for updates. Suddenly, he sensed an unfamiliar presence. Almost instinctively, Park Seong-ji tightened his grip on his weapon. A red car pulled up nearby, and a young woman stepped out, smiling. "So this is where you were. I've been looking everywhere for you." The newcomer was Yeonju, Park Seong-ji's junior from his university days. Seeing a familiar face, Park Seong-ji let out a small sigh of relief. After all, they hadn't kept in touch since graduation, and her appearance here was unexpected. Yeonju asked curiously, "Are you the one in charge of this dungeon?" "That's strange. Dungeon management shouldn't fall under your responsibilities, should it?" She paused, then lowered her voice. "There's something I've always wondered. Are the rumors about Chairwoman Lu Shengyan's poor health actually true?" Park Seong-ji's expression hardened immediately. "Of course that's not true." "Yeonju, where did you hear such rumors?" Yeonju shrugged. "A lot of people are saying it. Our correct guild has plenty of ways to gather information." At that moment, Park Seong-ji realized something alarming. The Lotus Guild had already been infiltrated. "Thanks for letting me know," he said coolly. "Looks like I'll be busy once I get back." Yeonju then pulled out her phone and showed him a photo. "One more thing. Do you know this kid named Min Jae-hyun? He's been showing up at the Lotus Guild a lot lately, and he's been meeting Chairwoman Lu Shengyan frequently. Do you know what's going on there?" Park Seong-ji's gaze turned sharp. "That's not something an outsider needs to worry about." Seeing she wouldn't get any answers, Yeonju turned to leave, smiling. "Honestly, I didn't expect you to tell me anyway. Senior Seong-ji, everyone knows how tight-lipped you are. I was just doing this because the guild paid me. I had to make it look convincing. I'll be going then. See you around, Senior." Meanwhile, inside the dungeon, Min Jae-hyun had already cleared out all the lesser monsters and was waiting calmly for the Demon King Nightshade. A faint rustling sound echoed through the area, and he knew instantly. The Demon King Nightshade was about to appear. Sure enough, it didn't take long before Nightshade emerged before him. Min Jae-hyun looked up at the Demon King Nightshade and said calmly, "Long time no see, that I'm not the same as last time." The moment the words left his mouth, he launched his attack. After taking the hit, the Demon King Nightshade immediately counterattacked. But Min Jae-hyun dodged the attack with ease. Even while airborne, he never let up his assault. He kept firing Sacred Arrow, steadily whittling down the Demon King Nightshade's health. Under that pressure, Nightshade had no choice but to let Min Jae-hyun land safely. The moment it recovered, the Demon King launched a counterattack. 3 slashing waves tore through the air, flying straight toward Min Jae-hyun. Yet with a simple sidestep, Min Jae-hyun effortlessly avoided the skill. The sight clearly stunned the Demon King Nightshade. Seeing Min Jae-hyun closing the distance, Nightshade immediately attacked again. But every single strike was dodged with almost casual precision. Then Min Jae-hyun raised his hand and activated lightning chains. What's wrong? This isn't what you expected, is it? As the words fell, multiple lightning chains shot straight toward Nightshade. As an active skill, its power far surpassed Sacred Arrow, and Min Jae-hyun could freely control its trajectory mid-flight. The Demon King never expected the attack to change direction. One brief lapse was all it took to be tightly bound by the chains. Still, Min Jae-hyun knew that this level of damage alone wouldn't be enough to finish it. Min Jae-hyun immediately prepared to fire Sacred Arrow, aiming to finish it off with additional damage. However, the Demon King Nightshade's health pool far exceeded his expectations. After taking so much damage, it didn't fall. Instead, it entered a berserk state. Worse still, if Min Jae-hyun failed to defeat it within 10 minutes, he would die instantly. In desperation, Min Jae-hyun attempted to use absolute calculation to disrupt the skill. But at the critical moment, Hell suddenly intervened and stopped him. Shocked and furious, Min Jae-hyun shouted, "Hell, why would you interfere at a time like this?" Receiving no response, Min Jae-hyun could only suppress his anger and focus on ending the fight as quickly as possible. To his surprise, the Demon King Nightshade began retreating on its own, clearly trying to stall for time. Left with no choice, Min Jae-hyun activated Sacrifice to forcibly restrain it. In the brief gap between skills, Nightshade launched a counterattack. It not only interrupted Min Jae-hyun's casting, but also inflicted him with the Fear status effect. Taking advantage of his momentary hesitation, Nightshade charged forward and rapidly drained his health. Fortunately, the blow did not deal fatal damage. If the fight dragged on any longer, Min Jae-hyun would have no chance of winning. That he decisively changed tactics, choosing to block the Demon King's vision first. Seeing Min Jae-hyun rush forward, Nightshade instinctively tried to create distance. But it quickly realized that Min Jae-hyun had stopped at range to cast another skill. "You didn't seriously think I'd charge in and fight you head-on, did you?" Before the words even finished, a blinding flash erupted in front of Nightshade. Hidden within the light, lightning chains struck its body with pinpoint accuracy. At the same moment, Min Jae-hyun finally closed the distance. The Demon King attempted to summon lesser monsters to stall for time, but Min Jae-hyun had already activated Sacrifice. The system identified the target as an undead creature, causing Sacrifice to automatically convert into Judgment of Light. With only 3 seconds left on the timer, Min Jae-hyun finally defeated the Demon King Nightshade. As a result, he obtained a new title, the first to pass the trial. At that moment, Hell spoke once more. Loki's choice was justified after all. "Come, child, that I invite you to enter my divine temple." In almost an instant, Min Jae-hyun was summoned to the gates of the temple. But at that exact moment, a terrifying presence locked onto him. The next second, a monstrous creature burst out from within the temple. Just as Min Jae-hyun was about to be killed on the spot, a commanding voice rang out, "Garm, escort the guest inside." At those words, Garm immediately withdrew its killing intent, turned around, and led Min Jae-hyun into the Temple of Death. The moment he stepped inside, Min Jae-hyun called out loudly, "Hell, I've come to see you." Hell appeared soon after, regarding him with faint surprise. "I didn't expect you to actually succeed. Congratulations. Chosen by fate as the child of the rebel, you have perfectly passed my trial." Min Jae-hyun asked in a low voice, "Why give me the non-yell system? Why put me through this trial? What is your real objective?" Hell answered calmly, Everything was done to turn you into a rebel. Min Jae-hyun frowned. Why me? Hell smiled. Because you were born with this destiny. To oppose the lofty Asura race and slay the supreme god Odin. That is the expectation Loki holds, and the one we place upon you. Min Jae-hyun was baffled. You want me to eliminate Odin? I don't understand what you're talking about. Hell replied indifferently. You don't need to understand that I never expected you to. The reason you were dragged into the conflicts of the gods is something you cannot grasp right now. But remember this is not merely a matter for the Asura dissenters. The entire world is heading toward death, and Odin intends to claim it all for himself. To stop all of this, we need your power. Grow stronger. I look forward to the day we meet again. Before Min Jae-hyun could say another word, Hel forcibly expelled him from the temple. Then Hel turned her head and said coldly, "Are you planning to keep watching from the sidelines? I don't recall inviting you." From within a golden sphere of light, Mimir spoke. "Forgive this old man's rudeness. Once I heard you met him, I simply couldn't restrain myself. That fellow has always been loyal, no matter the era. But tell me, how did it feel to see him in person?" Hel replied calmly, "It's still too early to draw conclusions. He has only just taken his first step." Mimir chuckled. "Yet it seems to me that you're rather pleased with that boy." Hel did not deny it. As a rebel, his growth has already exceeded my expectations. He solved the problem I set before him and stood before me in the end. Although some things went beyond my calculations, I'm still pleased. Hearing this, Mimir finally relaxed. That's good. As long as everything goes smoothly for him, I can rest easy. Hel asked coldly, "Is that all you wanted to say?" "You should still have something to tell me, Mimir." Mimir replied with an innocent look. "I have no idea what you're talking about." Hel sneered. "You sly old man. Are you really going to pretend you know nothing? The law of causality surrounding the rebel has clearly been distorted. Did you think I wouldn't notice? It seems your title as the wise giant is nothing but history now. And the rebel's left eye. That was an offering Odin made to the well of wisdom. Don't you intend to explain this, Mimir? What exactly are you and Loki plotting?" Mimir said apologetically, "Please forgive me, it's still too early to tell you everything. For now, just consider it the arrangement of fate." Hel smiled faintly. "Fate, huh? Fine, I'm used to waiting, but I won't stand by and do nothing. According to the prophecy, countless trials still lie ahead of him. He will need a guide. To climb to the summit, one must have a guide who can constantly lead them along the right path." Meanwhile, Min Jae-hyun was already transported out of the dungeon. Although he still hadn't learned the truth, he received Hel's blessing, granting him immunity to all abnormal status effects. A week before the semester began, Lu Xingyin's secretary, Park Hana, took Min Jae-hyun to the mall to pick out suitable magic items for his upcoming enrollment. But Min Jae-hyun couldn't bring himself to feel excited at all. Noticing the look on his face, Park Hana asked with concern, "You don't look so good. Is something bothering you?" Of course, Min Jae-hyun had no intention of revealing his secret. His trip to the domain of the dead hadn't brought him any answers, only more questions. He had gained a new EX rank skill, but the price was shockingly steep, eliminating Odin. Lost in thought, Min Jae-hyun followed Park Hana as they wandered through the mall. Before he realized it, she was already chatting with a sales clerk. It turned out that Xianai had picked out a magic dagger for him. When he saw the price tag, 300 million, Min Jae-hyun instantly broke out in a cold sweat that he never imagined a consumable item could cost that much. Park Hana explained calmly, "Milan's academy does provide some supplies for new students, but the quality is pretty average. It's better to bring your own gear." After that, she pulled out a long shopping list Lu Xingyin had given her and started equipping Min Jae-hyun accordingly. Staring at the densely packed list, Min Jae-hyun felt his scalp go numb as sweat poured down his back. Although Park Hana had made her intentions clear from the start, Min Jae-hyun had assumed they'd only buy a few artifacts or elixirs, nothing that would take too much time. Clearly, reality had far exceeded his expectations. At that moment, Park Hana said, "Then let's go buy some armor next." But Min Jae-hyun turned the suggestion down. He had already obtained a set of armor earlier in the domain of the dead. For his current level, that armor was more than sufficient. What's more, equipping it even granted him the stealth skill. Hearing Min Jae-hyun muttering to himself, Park Han-ah mistakenly thought he was looking for a stealth card. That kind of item was something every raider dreamed of, but there was no way it could be bought in a place like this. Min Jae-hyun quickly waved his hands. I was just talking to myself, don't overthink it. Hardly anyone even learns the stealth skill in the first place, right? Unless you got extremely lucky and farmed it inside a dungeon. Obtaining a stealth card was nearly impossible. Park Han-ah nodded in agreement. That's true. Nationwide, the only person with a stealth skill is my brother. Min Jae-hyun's curiosity was immediately piqued. Who exactly was her brother? Park Han-ah replied, My brother is Park Song-jae. You didn't know? Min Jae-hyun was genuinely shocked. He never imagined Park Han-ah was Park Song-jae's sister. Their presence and aura were completely different. Just then, a certain item resonated with Min Jae-hyun. A flash of light appeared before his eyes once more. Without hesitation, Min Jae-hyun rushed toward the glowing point, convinced that some kind of treasure was waiting for him there. The scene shifted to the training grounds. Violent sword winds surged toward Man. The white-haired fighter before him seemed tireless, every swing of his blade brimming with overwhelming aggression. When the sparring session ended, the victor was Haeoin. Although the other man was also strong, the gap in talent between them was simply too obvious. People often said he would become the next S-rank raider, and clearly, that reputation wasn't unfounded. At that moment, Haeoin's father said, Good work. Don't get arrogant. This match was one you were supposed to win. And Haeoin replied, Understood, father. His father continued, The sparring is over. Get ready for the next schedule. After you shower, we're going shopping. What he didn't realize was that Haeoin had long grown tired of this mechanical routine. He could see this point. He was nothing more than a chess piece in his father's hand. And with no other choice, he could only accept it. This was never the kind of raider he wanted to become. Meanwhile, Min Jae-hyun arrived at the treasure site. To his shock, the treasure before him turned out to be Mistiltine. It was the legendary weapon that pierced the chest of Odin's son, Baldur, an artifact imbued with seemingly endless magical power, capable of growing alongside its wielder. Min Jae-hyun couldn't help but wonder whether this was yet another joke played on him by the Nanyel system. Completely absorbed in his thoughts, he failed to notice Haeoin passing by behind him. At the moment, Haeoin was accompanying his father through the mall, shopping for equipment that he asked helplessly, Do we really need to buy this much? His father replied flatly, These are all for you. Someone aiming to become an S-rank raider can't be stingy over things like this. Haeoin hesitated before speaking up. But if we spend this much, my mother's hospital bills this month. His father cut him off coldly. Enough that I'll take care of the medical expenses. All you need to do is train seriously. And so, Haeoin could only stand there like a puppet. He didn't understand why he was even there. Like a monkey in a zoo, on display for everyone to stare at and judge. He still remembered the day he first awakened his abilities. His mother had smiled and gently patted his head. From that moment on, he dreamed of becoming a raider, to bring even a small ray of light to that broken, suffocating home. But in his father's eyes, that dream was nothing more than something to be exploited. And so, Haeoin gradually turned into a machine, carrying out the commands programmed by his father day after day. Just then, a dungeon rift suddenly appeared near the mall, and Haeoin froze on the spot. Walking ahead, his father urged impatiently, Haoyin, what are you standing there for? Get over here. You're a genius destined to control the nation's future. If you get injured here, it would be a huge loss for the opening ceremony at Milan's academy. But when Haeoin thought of the ordinary people who couldn't protect themselves, he immediately sprinted toward the dungeon. This was his only chance to prove that he was truly a raider. He wanted to confirm one thing, whether he was still a child his mother could be proud of. But the moment he laid eyes on the goblins, Haeoin came to a dead stop. This was his first time facing these monsters up close. And even though they were low-level creatures, his entire body began to tremble uncontrollably. All Haoyan could do was watch as the goblins lunged straight at him. Under their relentless pressure, he was completely frozen in place. At the critical moment, Min Jae-hyun arrived in time and saved him. The powerful impact sent an Haoyan flying to the side. Min Jae-hyun looked at the man on the ground and asked, "Are you in Haoyan?" The scene rewound to 2.5 minutes earlier, when Min Jae-hyun had just purchased Miss Stilltime. At that moment, Park Han-ah had only just arrived at the shop where Min Jae-hyun was. She couldn't help but wonder why he had bought such a strange-looking stone. Before Min Jae-hyun could explain, an alarm announcing the appearance of a dungeon echoed through the mall. Min Jae-hyun made the same choice as an Haoyan. He rushed straight out of the mall, the instinctive reaction of any raider. The moment he stepped outside, Min Jae-hyun unleashed Sacred Arrow. A torrent of powerful magic rained down on the goblin horde. But the sheer number of monsters was overwhelming. There was no way Min Jae-hyun could take them all down on his own. It was right here that he encountered the unfortunate prodigy, an Haoyan. And Haoyan couldn't help but wonder who the person in front of him really was. Min Jae-hyun spoke first. "We can talk later. Right now, I need your help." Suddenly, a goblin appeared behind him, and Haoyan immediately shouted, "Wait, behind you!" Before he could finish, Min Jae-hyun had already eliminated the goblin in an instant. Min Jae-hyun turned back and asked, "Are you just going to stand there? Get a grip. Pick up your weapon." The moment those words reached him, all of an Haoyan's anxiety and hesitation vanished. The figure standing before him was exactly what he believed a true raider should be. Right now, there was only one thing they needed to do: wipe out the monsters and protect the ordinary people inside the mall. Min Jae-hyun helped him regain his fighting spirit and asked, "Can you use taunt? If you can, draw some of the monsters' attention first. There are too many goblins that everything you can allure them away." Hearing this, an Haoyan immediately summoned his weapon. He then activated his skill, Taunting Roar. This wasn't an ordinary taunt, but a far more advanced skill. Mastering something like this at his age was exactly why he was called a genius. Back in his previous life, before Min Jae-hyun's rebirth, and Haoyan had ultimately ended up as nothing more than an ordinary B-rank raider. While the exact reasons were unclear, it was likely that the same kind of cowardly mindset he had just shown, so different from his public reputation as a genius, caused him to crumble quickly in battle. That was precisely why he became known as the unfortunate prodigy. This time, however, Min Jae-hyun believed that an Haoyan would eventually grow into a powerful trump card, one that would be extremely useful to him. Min Jae-hyun encouraged him. "Good, let's finish this quickly." After the fight ended, a startled voice suddenly rang out from nearby. "My God, what on earth happened here?" Min Jae-hyun and an Haoyan immediately turned toward the source of the voice. The newcomer was a raider who had arrived as reinforcement. He introduced himself. "I'm Park Kyung-hoon from the Raider Association. Were all these goblins taken down by the two of you?" The two nodded. Yes. Park Kyung-hoon quickly recognized an Haoyan and began to think to himself he'd heard rumors that this kid was a prodigy, but judging by his age, he should be close to entering high school. The one beside him looked about the same age. Did they really wipe out this many goblins on their own? The more he thought about it, the more troubled he looked. How am I supposed to report this to my superiors? Seeing his hesitation, Min Jae-hyun spoke up. "That's actually what I wanted to discuss with you. Just say the association handled IT, and no one would believe we could have taken down this many monsters anyway." Park Kyung-hoon hesitated. "That's clearly against protocol." Min Jae-hyun replied calmly, "It would be if someone actually witnessed everything. But that's assuming there were witnesses, right?" Park Kyung-hoon sighed and shrugged. "As you can see, I'm part of a government agency that I can't handle things purely based on personal preference. Still, if you don't want attention, I'll do my best to take care of it discreetly. I'll also provide the monster subjugation rewards." Hearing that, Min Jae-hyun gestured toward an Haoyan. "Then give my reward to him as well. And please keep it confidential that I was ever here." An Haoyan hurriedly called out to Min Jae-hyun, who was about to leave. "Wait a second. What do you mean by that? You were the one who took down those monsters, weren't you?" Min Jae-hyun apologized softly. "I'm sorry that I have my reasons. The opening ceremony at Milan's academy was just around the corner, and Min Jae-hyun didn't want to risk drawing his father's attention. Before, his low combat power had kept him under the radar. But things were different now. Once discovered, his plans would inevitably be disrupted. Only by hiding his strength for the time being could he seize the chance for revenge when it truly mattered. Meanwhile, Haeoyen was caught in a painful dilemma. Rationally speaking, he shouldn't simply take credit for Min Jae-hyun's achievements. Yet with that money, his mother's condition might finally improve. He wanted to become a raider with a clear conscience, but he also couldn't bear the thought of losing his mother. Seeing his hesitation, Min Jae-hyun decided to help him make a choice. He said calmly, "Think it through. Every decision you make leads to a different outcome. If you keep hesitating, someone will end up paying the price." And Haeoyen suddenly realized that if he lost the person who mattered most, his dreams would become meaningless. He stopped hesitating and said firmly, "If I ever get the chance, I'll repay this debt." From that brief exchange alone, Park Kyung-hoon could tell that Min Jae-hyun possessed a level of maturity far beyond his years. He spoke up at the right moment. "Since you've reached an agreement, I'll handle it the way you suggested." With the matter settled, Min Jae-hyun didn't linger. "If that's decided, I'll be on my way." And Haeoyen quickly stopped him. "At least tell me your name and how to contact you." Min Jae-hyun smiled. "No need to make things complicated. We're the same age, and we're both freshmen at Milan's academy that will definitely see each other again." Time quickly arrived at the enrollment day of Milan's academy. Carrying the title of martial-type prodigy, and Haeoyen soon drew the attention of the surrounding students. Another figure who caught their eyes was Su-yana. She was destined to become the future top of the Raider popularity rankings. However, Su-yana was different from the others. Min Jae-hyun knew she wouldn't be easy to recruit. Besides, there was no need to rush things at this point. He already had 3 companions whose strength far surpassed that of ordinary people. Standing nearby, Kim Moon said irritably, "No matter how pretty she is, you can't just keep staring at her like that." Hearing Kim Yoo-young's comment, Su-yana glanced in Min Jae-hyun's direction. At that moment, a voice rang out from the podium. "Freshmen of Milan's academy, it's a pleasure to meet you all. I'm the chairman, Gu Zirin." The instant Min Jae-hyun heard that name, his expression hardened. A large part of the misery he had suffered back then was precisely because of Gu Zirin. He immediately said to Kim Young in a solemn tone, "Be mentally prepared that I end this place. We can't predict what might happen." Kim Young, however, didn't take it seriously and replied cheerfully, "So you were worried about me? Don't worry, I'm pretty strong, you know." Min Jae-hyun reflected silently. That was true. After enrolling, Kim Young would become the 3rd-ranked elite of the magic-type division, and this time, no matter what, he wouldn't let her repeat the same fate. On the stage, Gu Zirin continued, "Students, the opening ceremony of Milan's academy now begins. We've prepared a special event for all of you. A hunting activity in subspace, where current students and freshmen will participate together. The freshman hunt officially begins." A magic circle suddenly appeared beneath Kim Yoo-young's feet, startling her. At the critical moment, Min Jae-hyun reached out and firmly grabbed her hand. The scene shifted to the Lotus Guild. Park Sung-jae asked, "Today's the day Min Jae-hyun enrolls, right?" Lu Xingyin replied in surprise, "Already, I was planning to message him before enrollment to wish him luck. If I send it now, he probably won't even see it." Park Sung-jae answered calmly, "I anticipated the chairman's intentions, so I sent a message on your behalf yesterday." Lu Xingyin asked excitedly, "Really?" Did he reply? What did Min Jae-hyun say? Park Sung-jae took out his phone. He said there's no need for you to worry. Meanwhile, Min Jae-hyun and Kim Yoo-young had already entered subspace. And inside that space, besides the 2 of them, there was one more person. Su-yana, the magic-type prodigy recognized as S-rank after Lu Xingyin, the one who reshaped how the world viewed magic. The scene shifted again, this time to the central control room of Milan's academy. Gu Zirin stood with the faculty, observing the freshmen's performance in real time. Instructor Kim Suk-ji spoke up, "This class has quite a few outstanding talents, and Haeoin is already well known even overseas. He's widely regarded as a rising star. Aside from Haeoin, there are several high-potential candidates: Soo-yaina, Kim Yoo-young, and Lee Soo-hyuk, all magic type, all with scores above 90. There's also one student who switched majors midway. Their profile hasn't been fully updated yet. Gu Zirin sneered, "Students who change paths halfway through never last long in our academy. You don't even need to look. Anyone who makes it into Milan's academy certainly has exceptional talent. But among them are prodigies like in Haeoin, who were already famous long before enrolling. We still need to give those mediocre ones, those stepping stones, a chance. When awakened individuals face enemies they can't handle or brush against real death, there's a high chance they'll gain a second opportunity. If they manage a second awakening, it's a profit for us. After all, being a raider is about proving one's worth. As for those who get crushed along the way, they're simply defective products that failed to prove themselves. His task was to select the most outstanding prodigies and offer them to that great one. There was no time left to waste. Otherwise, that great one would surely grow displeased. The entrance ceremony at Milan's academy took the form of a hunting game held inside subspace. Subspace broke free from the constraints of time and space. Things that could never exist in reality were distorted into tangible forms here. Every year, 5% of the students were eliminated in this place. Such a brutal activity existed for one purpose only: to force students to confront their absolute limits. That was why Min Jae-hyun could not afford to lower his guard under any circumstances, especially in front of magic-type prodigy like Soo-yaina. Before long, Gu Zirin's projection appeared within subspace. From this moment on, I will explain the rules of the freshman hunt. According to regulations, everyone may only use skills of C rank or below. Each time you remove another participant's name tag, you will earn points. When upperclassmen take a freshman's tag, they receive 10,000 points. Conversely, if a freshman takes an upperclassman's tag, they earn 100,000 points. These points can be exchanged for facilities and resources within Milan's academy. For safety reasons, skill power has been reduced to the minimum. There's no need to worry about injuries. Participate actively in the game. Min Jae-hyun quickly noticed that Gu Zirin never mentioned restrictions on innate skills, nor any limitations on talent. The intention was obvious: to filter out the useless ones in advance, and to identify truly gifted freshmen as early as possible. Min Jae-hyun then said to Kim Yoo-young, "We'll be here for 3 days, now let's find a shelter first." Subspace was filled with traps and facilities that if they wanted to survive for 3 days, finding a shelter was the top priority. Kim Yoo-young lowered her voice. "Wouldn't it be safer if we teamed up with her? She looks like a magic-type student too. Wouldn't an extra person help?" Min Jae-hyun weighed the idea silently. Recruiting Soo-yaina would certainly be ideal, but she was an extremely unstable variable. In the future, there would be countless reports of her losing control and putting numerous lives in danger. After a brief pause, he said, "This isn't a decision we can make lightly. How can you be sure she won't betray us? Look at her. She's on high alert. Her eyes are full of distrust toward us." To his surprise, Kim Yoo-young shook her head. "I don't feel any of that at all. The way she feels right now, it's exactly like you when you were a kid." With that, Kim Yoo-young walked straight towards Soo-yaina. "If you're willing, would you like to team up with us? Both of us are magic type too. This event is clearly stacked against freshmen. The more people we have, the easier it'll be to fight." Soo-yaina looked upward and replied calmly, "Whether we team up or not, we'll have to decide that in a moment." The next instant, a fierce gust roared overhead. As the dust settled, 2 figures appeared. Didn't expect to find 3 freshmen this fast. Looks like earning points this year will be easy. The newcomers were upperclassmen Shin Jun-shang and Kwon Xiaolu from Milan's academy. Kwon Xiaolu. "Why are there 3? I clearly sensed only 2. She quickly realized she couldn't sense Min Jae-hyun's presence at all. Kim Yoo-young said nervously, "Those 2 upperclassmen are martial type. Shouldn't we retreat first?" Min Jae-hyun answered decisively, "No, we can't escape. We have to deal with them here." Based on memories from his previous life, he knew Quan Shalu's innate skill all too well. She could track designated targets within a 300-kilometer radius. If they didn't take care of them now, once more upperclassmen joined in, they'd stand no chance. Shun Junshang laughed excitedly. Since the points are right in front of us, I won't hold back. With that, he charged straight toward the three of them. Unexpectedly, the strike was effortlessly dodged by Min Jae-hyun. Min Jae-hyun said calmly, "It's been a long time since anyone dared to swing a sword at me." Enraged, Shun Junshang slashed again. "Any freshman who can dodge my attacks, I know them, and you're just a magic-type freshman." But in the next instant, his blade was firmly caught in Min Jae-hyun's hand. Min Jae-hyun spoke coldly. "Someone as stupid as you surviving this long. That's impressive in its own way." With that, he crushed Shun Junshang's sword with his bare hand. The sight stunned Su Yaina on the spot. Min Jae-hyun continued, "I'll give you 3 seconds. Hand over your name tag, and I'll spare you." But Shun Junshang was already terrified, unable to react within such a short span of time. After 3 seconds passed, Min Jae-hyun said flatly, "I gave you a chance. You chose not to take it." He then threw a single punch straight at Shun Junshang. Kwon Shao never imagined her partner would be eliminated so quickly. Meanwhile, inside the central control room, Kim Suk-ji remarked, "A freshman has finally taken a name tag." As his words fell, the system announced that contestant Min Jae-hyun had earned 100,000 points. Instructor Young Isu froze in shock. He immediately turned to Instructor Park Ha-jun and asked in a low voice, "Is there a system error? Why isn't this in Haoyan?" Park Ha-jun hurriedly checked the system before replying, "Instructor Young, there are no abnormalities in the system." At that moment, a thrilled smile spread across Gu Ziran's face. Min Jae-hyun? Clearly, he had taken a strong interest in that name. The scene returned to the subspace. Kwon Shao exclaimed in shock, "Why have I never heard that name before? Who exactly are you?" Min Jae-hyun ignored her completely and spoke directly to Kim Yoo-young. "I sent you a party invite. Accept it now. We'll take care of the last one together." Kim Yoo-young was full of confusion. Why had Min Jae-hyun suddenly become this strong? Su Yaina said nothing, silently drawing her weapon instead. Even without a monster like Min Jae-hyun, there was no way Kwon Shao would win a 1 versus 3 fight. Realizing that, she immediately decided to take down one target first and then escape in the chaos. Unfortunately for her, that attack was also easily dodged by Kim Yoo-young. If Kim Yoo-young were an ordinary person, the tactic might have worked, but unfortunately, she wasn't. After evading the attack, Kim Yoo-young instantly activated Bind on Kwon Shao. Slipping through the restraint, Kwon Shao quickly hurled the throwing knives in her hand. Luckily, Kim Yoo-young raised a magical barrier in time, blocking the strike. Min Jae-hyun knew very well that Kim Yoo-young alone still couldn't overpower an upperclassman head-on. Just as he was about to step in, he heard Su Yaina's quiet spell chanting. What she cast was her innate skill, sort of all-fine. In almost an instant, Kwon Shao was completely defeated by Su Yaina's attack. Only then did she finally realize the truth. The 3 freshmen standing before her were all monsters. After the battle, Su Yaina looked at Kim Yoo-young and asked calmly, "Did I interfere with what you were doing?" Kim Yoo-young waved her hands quickly. "No, not all. You actually saved me just now." Su Yaina then asked again, "So, is the offer you mentioned earlier still on the table?" After everything that had happened, Min Jae-hyun felt it was necessary to reassess his view of Su Yaina. Perhaps she wasn't as unstable as the news had portrayed, just naturally cautious and quiet by nature. After forming a team, the 3 of them headed straight for the nearest shelter, the Nightmare Forest Refuge. Outside the shelter, upperclassmen were searching for traces of freshmen when someone quickly spotted footprints on the ground. "There are other footprints here. Looks like they went inside the shelter." "Stop searching. Everyone regroup here." They were convinced that any freshman capable of taking down upperclassmen wouldn't hide in a shelter forever. So they decided to camp outside the entrance, waiting for their prey to come out. What they didn't know was that Min Jae-hyun's group had already noticed their movements. A sudden attack struck, instantly eliminating one of the upperclassmen in the crowd. That act was nothing short of a direct insult to the upperclassmen. Following the lingering trail of magic, they quickly spotted Kim Yu-young hiding nearby. They rushed after her, completely unaware that they had already fallen into Min Jae-hyun's trap. Kim Yu-young glanced back and taunted them. "So many of you, and you still can't catch me? Isn't that embarrassing?" The leading upperclassman roared. "You little bastard, stop right there." Unbeknownst to them, Kim Yu-young was secretly mocking their simple-mindedness. In truth, Min Jae-hyun had anticipated this situation long before it happened. While the shelter was safe, staying there forever was never an option. They needed supplies, and more importantly, they needed points. Their real objective was to hunt the upperclassmen instead. At that moment, Kim Yu-young activated Wind Step. She had already lured them into a dense area of paralyzing spore mushrooms, exactly as planned. It turned out Min Jae-hyun had asked Lee Jae-sang beforehand about ways to resist the effects of the paralyzing spores. After thinking for a moment, Lee Jae-sang replied, "There's no reliable way to prevent it for now, but the sap from osmanthus branches can neutralize the toxin." Min Jae-hyun answered immediately, "If it can cure it, that's enough." "Thanks, bro." With that, Min Jae-hyun's group began searching the subspace for osmanthus tree sap. After all, this game had been designed specifically for martial type students, with nearly every rule placing magic types at a severe disadvantage. For someone like Kim Yu-young, who lacked an innate skill, direct offensive options were almost non-existent. Min Jae-hyun quickly laid out a plan. "We'll turn this around using basic skills. Can you use a swap skill?" Su Ina asked curiously. "A spell that only switches positions with teammates. How could that possibly turn the tide?" Min Jae-hyun raised the collected osmanthus sap and said, "Relax. With this, we can go all out." Back in the present, the upperclassmen also began to sense that something was off. They realized that continuing to chase Kim Yu-young would force them into the range of the paralyzing spore mushrooms. For a moment, hesitation spread through the group. A heated argument broke out between Park Sung-hyuk and Oh Jin-hyuk that, "Oh snapped, we're already this far. Are you really suggesting we back off now?" Park replied grimly, "If we turn back now, we still have time." Oh Jin-hyuk shouted, "That freshman eliminated Kim Sung-hun, and you're saying this now?" Park Sung-hyuk answered hesitantly, "Even if they're freshmen, if we all get paralyzed, we won't be able to do anything." Oh Jin-hyuk sneered, "Even if we get paralyzed, that kid won't get away. Park Sung-hyuk, you stay here. Stand outside the paralysis zone and keep watch. The rest of you, come with me that I'll show them that cheap tricks won't save them." Oh Jin-hyuk knew full well that Kim Yu-young was trying to lure them into a trap so her teammates could ambush them. But at this point, his anger had completely overwhelmed his judgment. And besides, they had never taken magic type freshmen seriously to begin with. At last, Oh Jin-hyuk caught up with Kim Yu-young and snarled, "So this is it, brat. You've got nowhere left to run. You little pest really enjoyed making things this complicated, didn't you?" Kim Yu-young mocked him. "Then come over here. Or are you too scared? You were talking big a moment ago. What happened? Why isn't anyone moving now?" Provoked by her taunts, the upperclassmen rushed forward in fury. Kim Yu-young immediately triggered the paralyzing spore mushrooms beneath her feet. The explosion sent spores everywhere, plunging all living beings within a 50-meter radius into a paralysis lasting 2 full hours. At the same time, Min Jae-hyun noticed the flash from the spore detonation in the distance. He turned to Su Ina and said, "Looks like it's our turn." Back in the mushroom forest, Oh Jin-hyuk hadn't expected Kim Yu-young to actually trigger the paralyzing spores, an act that benefited no one present. Yet Kim Yu-young said excitedly, "Time to switch. This isn't my stage anymore." With that, she activated her active skill swap. In the next instant, Min Jae-hyun was exchanged into the battlefield, his foot slamming down hard onto Oh Jin-hyuk's face. "Respected seniors," he said calmly, "it's my turn now." Before the words even settled, he kicked Oh Jin-hyuk flying. Even as he was sent crashing away, Oh Jin-hyuk shouted stubbornly, "You think things will go your way? You're an idiot for coming here yourself. right into the paralyzing spore zone. Just in case, I already had my teammate guarding the outside. Once these spores clear, none of you are getting away. Min Jae-hyun cut him off coolly. Sorry, that guy probably won't be making it here either. At the same time, a violent explosion echoed deep within the forest. The system immediately announced, contestant Park Song-hyuk has been eliminated, and the one who eliminated him was none other than Soo In-ah. The moment Oh Jin-hyuk saw the notification, he froze in disbelief. Min Jae-hyun spoke calmly. Didn't I tell you, that guy wasn't going to make it? It was then that Oh Jin-hyuk realized something shocking. The paralyzing spores that could immobilize everyone for 2 full hours had absolutely no effect on Min Jae-hyun, that he was under Hell's blessing, immune to all status effects, making him the only person still able to move. Min Jae-hyun stepped down hard and said coldly, "If you want answers, save them for the gods." The remaining 3 could only watch helplessly as Oh Jin-hyuk was eliminated on the spot. Min Jae-hyun then turned his gaze toward the others and said flatly, "So, that leaves just the 3 of you?" Meanwhile, inside the central control room, the non-stop score notifications left the instructors utterly stunned. Min Jae-hyun's team had surged straight to the top of the leaderboard. At the same time, Kim Young drank the osmanthus sap. The paralysis affecting her body was instantly removed. With the threat resolved, the girls moved to regroup with Min Jae-hyun. On the way, Soo In-ah asked, "Min Jae-hyun seems unusually familiar with advanced applications of magic swapping that I've never seen that in any textbook." Kim Young replied, "He switched to the magic track less than 3 months ago that I taught him most of the fundamentals myself." Soo In-ah said in shock, "So he originally wanted to go martial type?" Kim Young explained, "Just a few months ago, he was obsessed with martial combat. Back then, he barely respected magic at all. Then how did he know that osmanthus sap could remove paralysis? Where did he even learn something like that?" It didn't take long for the 3 of them to reach their agreed meeting point. Min Jae-hyun asked, "The paralysis is gone, right? You two don't look that tired." Kim Young replied immediately, "Of course, I just ran like crazy for a bit and only used magic once." Soo In-ah nodded. "I'm fine too." Kim Young then teased him, "You usually look kind of dumb, but today you seem different." Min Jae-hyun reached out and pinched her cheek. "Who are you calling dumb? You've got some nerve saying that." In Soo In-ah's eyes, Min Jae-hyun didn't look dumb at all. If anything, he was actually pretty good looking, right in line with her personal taste. She quickly pushed the thought aside, though. Caution still came first. After dealing with the trouble outside, they returned to the shelter. Min Jae-hyun began working over a pot. Soo In-ah asked curiously, "What are you doing?" "Making stamina recovery potions," Min Jae-hyun replied. "I figured we might need them, so asked an older guy I know for the recipe." Kim Young laughed and teased him. "You actually know an older guy? I thought you didn't even have friends." Min Jae-hyun shot back, "Listen to yourself, like you've got friends other than me." Soo In-ah praised him sincerely. "Min Jae-hyun, you're really impressive. You don't feel like someone our age at all. You come across like someone who's lived 10 years longer." Kim Young stood up and said, "Enough chatting that if we want to act tomorrow, we should eat something first." Unfortunately, neither Min Jae-hyun nor Kim Young had any real talent when it came to cooking. Soo In-ah stepped forward on her own. "I know a bit about cooking. Why don't I give it a try? I live with my grandmother, so I'm the one who cooks every day." As she spoke, Soo In-ah tied her hair back and got ready to work her magic in the kitchen. Min Jae-hyun didn't know much about Soo In-ah's family background. All he knew was that she lived with her grandmother. Her parents had likely met with some kind of misfortune. Before long, Soo In-ah finished preparing dinner for everyone. After the first bite, both of them were instantly impressed by the taste. Min Jae-hyun said sincerely, "I never thought we'd get food this good in a place like this." Kim Young was so excited that she wrapped Soo In-ah in a hug. Being with the 2 of them, Soo In-ah felt a sense of warmth and happiness she hadn't felt in a long time. Meanwhile, inside the central control room, the hunting game, originally designed for martial-type students, had taken an unexpected turn. Leading the rankings was Min Jae-hyun, a magic-type student, stunning every instructor watching. Instructor Kim Suk-ji said in disbelief, "The student we had the highest expectations for, and Haeoyen, is currently ranked 4th. What's even harder to believe is that 1st and 2nd place are both held by magic-type students." Gu Ziren was deeply shaken. Until now, results like this had only ever appeared among martial-type raiders. Yet the current situation left everyone at a loss for explanation. 3 magic-type freshmen had dominated the event, even wiping out the martial-type upperclassmen. He immediately turned to instructor Kim Ji-yeon and said, "Replay the footage from the paralyzing spore mushroom zone." Watching the footage again, Gu Ziren still couldn't believe in that situation. Min Jae-hyun had shown not only decisiveness, but astonishing judgment and combat ability strong enough to overwhelm martial types. He didn't resemble a magic-type student at all. If anything, he looked like a seasoned martial-type raider, and the most unbelievable part was that he was still a freshman. However, Min Jae-hyun's data still hadn't been updated. At that moment, Park Ha-jun rushed in with a stack of documents. "Chairman, we found Min Jae-hyun's information, but I'm not sure how reliable it is." Gu Ziren frowned. "What do you mean you're not sure it's reliable? Calm down and explain it clearly. What exactly is going on?" Instead of answering directly, Park Ha-jun handed over the file. "Please take a look yourself. Min Jae-hyun's magic-type compatibility is at 97%. The instant he saw the number, Gu Ziren could hardly believe his eyes. At the same time, the excitement welling up inside him became impossible to suppress. "I want to confirm it personally," Gu Ziren said slowly. "I want to see just how exceptional this talent really is." Instructor Kim Suk-ji asked from the side, "Does that mean you plan to intervene in the assessment directly?" Gu Ziren nodded. "Yes, I can't wait any longer to meet this kid. Why don't we design a little game of our own?" Meanwhile, Min Jae-hyun's team had already reached a score of 1.1 million points, practically securing 1st place on the freshman rankings. Since no more upperclassmen were heading into the Nightmare Forest, they had no choice but to leave their temporary shelter. After all, if they wanted more points, they had to keep moving. Kim Young stretched lazily and said, "Looks like we don't have a choice. Time to get ready." Su Ina added, "The highest record in previous freshman hunts was 1.14 million points. Let's break it and make history." Min Jae-hyun hadn't expected Su Ina to be this competitive. Just then, he suddenly sensed someone approaching. In the next instant, a ferocious slash shot straight toward him. The power behind it far exceeded that of a C-rank skill. It turned out that due to instability in the subspace, the restrictions on skill levels had been lifted. In that moment, everyone instinctively turned to look in the direction the slash had come from. Kim Yu-young asked anxiously, "Min Jae-hyun, are you okay? We're all freshmen. Why would he attack us?" Min Jae-hyun stared straight ahead and said quietly, "I never thought we'd meet again like this. And Haeoyen, what are you doing right now?" But Haeoyen showed no reaction at all, as if he couldn't hear a single word. Su Ina lowered her voice. "He doesn't look conscious. It's like he's being controlled." Min Jae-hyun immediately understood. This had to be Gu Ziren's doing. The exact same thing had happened during the Milani's Academy anniversary event in his previous life. Back then, after Gu Ziren's embezzlement was exposed, he tried to evade the law by using mind control skills on students that led to a horrific incident. It caused a horrifying disaster, and after diverting everyone's attention, Gu Ziren vanished without a trace. That incident claimed the lives of countless students. Kim Young also collapsed into Min Jae-hyun's arms on that very day. As a friend, Min Jae-hyun could never fight in Haeoyen without holding back. Right now, the only thing that mattered was restoring his consciousness. At that moment, the Nanyel system suddenly issued a quest. Rescue a student affected by mind control magic, and the reward was a black card. Min Jae-hyun immediately said to the two of them, "I can handle this alone. Leave now. Go as far away as you can. If possible, earn some extra points while you're at it." Kim Yu-young said anxiously, "Do you even know who he is? He's in Haeoyen, the prodigy of the martial division, but there's no way you can face him alone." Min Jae-hyun turned back and said calmly, yet firmly, Do you really think I can't do this? Seeing the look on his face, Suyaina chose to believe him without hesitation. Understand, she said quietly. We'll leave now. But Kim Young still couldn't accept it and blurted out, Yaina, why are you going along with Jaehyun on something this reckless? Fine, I'm going. Earning points will be on us then. After a brief pause, she added, but Jaehyun, don't you dare get hurt. Once you're done, come find us right away. Min Jaehyun smiled lightly. Don't worry that I'll be there soon. The scene shifted back to one day earlier, relying purely on his own strength, and Haeoyan had already eliminated many upperclassmen. His score had now reached 600,000 points. He calculated silently. Just one more day, and the game would be over. And yet, despite giving it everything he had, he still couldn't reach first place. What frustrated him even more was that the Magic Division students were holding the top spots under these conditions, with even their teammates ranking high. And Haeoyan couldn't help recalling his first encounter with Min Jae-hyun. He sighed inwardly. That guy really is something else. If that's the case, then I can't afford to give up so easily. There's still time if I push a little harder. At that moment, a projection suddenly appeared before him. Student and Haeoyan, this is Chairman Gu Ziren. And Haeoyan asked instinctively, why are you looking for me? Gu Ziren didn't answer. Instead, he activated his innate skill, brainwashing. I need your help with something. A searing pain exploded inside and Haeoyan's head. His consciousness twisted violently. The brainwashing was complete. He clutched his head, his expression dazed and pained. Why am I here? What was I supposed to do? The chaos snapped into a single command. I remember now. I need to eliminate Min Jae-hyun. Back in the present, Haeoyan charged at Min Jae-hyun, sluggish yet unwavering. He suddenly swung his sword, unleashing a brutal slash. Min Jae-hyun leapt lightly, avoiding the strike with ease. He recognized it instantly, and Haeoyan's A-rank skill, Martial Apex. When the attack failed, and Haeoyan immediately closed the distance. Min Jae-hyun frowned. The first time they met, this guy had been nothing special. But now, his control, his timing, everything felt completely different. In terms of raw physical ability, Min Jae-hyun was actually at a disadvantage. With nothing but his shield, and Haeoyan slammed him straight into the air. Min Jae-hyun twisted midair, barely dispersing the overwhelming force. The moment he landed, he activated Wind Step. His speed surged beyond and Haeoyan's reach. Using that advantage, he slipped behind and Haeoyan in an instant. Lightning crackled in his palm. He was ready to end this pointless fight with lightning chains. But to his surprise, and Haeoyan retreated at the exact right moment. Before his eyes could even fully track Min Jae-hyun's movement, his body had already reacted on instinct alone. As expected of a prodigy born with extraordinarily sharp combat instincts, Min Jae-hyun knew this fight would not be as easy as he had imagined. In theory, using absolute calculation would be enough to break the brainwashing. But the real problem was that Gu Ziren was definitely watching this battle from the control room. He was probably even wearing that disgusting, self-satisfied grin. At this moment, and Haeoyan had fully ignited Min Jae-hyun's competitive drive. More than winning, Min Jae-hyun wanted Gu Ziren to pay. Step by step, he closed in on Haeoyan. In the control room, Jung Ishio stared at the scene in disbelief. That I'm not mistaken, am I? A magic-type student fighting in close quarters like a martial type, and actually gaining the upper hand. And his opponent was Haeoyan, the martial-type prodigy. The sight made it impossible for Jung Ishio to believe her own eyes. She clenched her sleeve tightly, shock flooding her mind. How is this possible? How? Is he doing this? A magic type defeating a martial type was supposed to be impossible. That belief had been burned deep into her heart through every battle she'd fought as a magic type raider. Yet now, the impossible was unfolding right before everyone's eyes. At this point, Haeoyan had completely lost the ability to fight back. Min Jae-hyun looked at him and said calmly, I didn't intend to go this far, but your body's tough. You should be able to stand up again soon. So now it's time to deal with them. With that, Min Jae-hyun turned his gaze toward the people inside the control room. In the next instant, the surveillance screen was flooded with blinding white light. The instructors in the control room cried out in shock. What happened? Why did the screen suddenly turn white? Guzirin snatched the remote control straight out of an instructor's hands. No matter how many buttons he pressed, the image refused to change. Beside him, Kim Ji-yoon said, "It looks like he used a spell to cut off the feed, shining word." Guzirin crushed the remote in his grip. That little brat, so that's how you want to play it. Instructor Kim Suki, listen carefully. Once this event ends, bring that student, Min Jae-hyun, to my office. Kim Suki hesitated. Are we really making that decision this quickly? Guzirin looked at him with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Instructor Kim Suki, do you know why he cut off the feed even after winning? Because he understands how to increase his own value. Meanwhile, Min Jae-hyun had already stepped in front of Haeyoin. He activated absolute calculation, breaking the brainwashing spell. Are you a bit clearer now? Min Jae-hyun asked, and Haeyoin tried to stand, but a wave of pain surged through his body. In the end, he collapsed to the ground, trembling violently. Min Jae-hyun said, "Sorry about that. You suddenly rushed in and attacked me." And Haeyoin asked in confusion, "I attacked you? Why would I do something like that?" Min Jae-hyun explained, "You were hit by a mental control type spell." Only then did Haeyoin recall hearing a strange voice earlier. But that kind of spell is definitely above her rank. The subspace clearly restricts skills to C rank and below. Min Jae-hyun replied, "Maybe the subspace malfunctioned, or someone interfered directly." And Haeyoin pressed on, "Do you know who did it? Why would they do this?" Min Jae-hyun shook his head. "I can't say for sure, but anyone capable of pulling off something on this scale isn't someone ordinary people can afford to provoke." Still, Min Jae-hyun was certain of one thing. Someday, and Haeyoin would see Guzirin for who he truly was. And Haeyoin struggled to his feet, only to realize the pain in his body hadn't eased at all. Meanwhile, Min Jae-hyun stood nearby as if nothing had happened, thinking about the gap between them, and Haeyoin clenched his fists tightly. Then he spoke up, his voice low. "I'm really sorry, truly." Min Jae-hyun shrugged. "If you can still move, I'll be heading out. Make the most of the time you have left." But just then, Haeyoin tossed something toward him. Min Jae-hyun opened his hand and found Haeyoin's name tag. His expression turned serious. "What are you doing? You know, losing your name tag is basically the same as being eliminated." "It's fine," Haeyoin replied. "I may not be as strong as you, but I've got plenty of points. And I lost to you fair and square. This belongs to you. But next time, I won't lose. When that happens, I'll take this name tag back with my own hands." Min Jae-hyun looked down at the name tag that IT was only worth 10,000 points. Yet to him, it meant far more than that. Once, he had longed for martial-type power, longed for recognition from a martial-type prodigy. This sense of achievement was something he had never felt before. The boy who once could only envy martial-type raiders had now defeated a martial-type genius with his own hands and earned his recognition. For Min Jae-hyun, this was the most fulfilling moment since his return. He could clearly feel it. He had finally stepped beyond that fragile, painful past. Before long, the freshman hunting game came to an end. Min Jae-hyun shattered the previous record with 1.53 million points. Jin Young shot him an annoyed look at his shamelessly smug expression. "That's a historic height. Shouldn't you be a little happier about it? I'm not wrong, am I?" Su Ina, however, looked genuinely frustrated. "If we'd had just one more hour, we could have broken 1.6 million. Jin Young couldn't really understand their obsession with higher scores, but she still laughed. "Whatever. These points are enough for me to live comfortably for a while." Min Jae-hyun replied, "Of course. Multiply our points by 10. That's basically real-world money. That means you earn about 15.3 million. I took first place, and you two tied for second. There should also be an extra 1 million point bonus." Realizing how much she'd actually earned, Jin Young nearly threw herself at Min Jae-hyun. Compared to them, the rest of the students could only watch with envy. At that moment, a tall figure stepped forward through the crowd. "Hello, Everyone that I'm instructor Kim Suk-ji. Hearing this, the two immediately greeted him. Kim Suk-ji continued, I have something I'd like to discuss with the three of you. There are too many eyes here. Shall we move somewhere else? Min Jae-hyun looked at him and asked, what you want to talk about? Is it about our results in the freshman hunt? Kim Suk-ji could only nod in response. Without saying another word, Min Jae-hyun walked straight past him. Shouldn't you at least tell us where you're taking us? Min Jae-hyun said calmly. The chairman's office. I wasn't wrong, was I, instructor? Just like that, the three of them followed Kim Suk-ji into Gu Jiren's office. Min Jae-hyun glanced around and asked, where's the chairman? He summoned us, but he's not even here. Faced with Min Jae-hyun's blatant arrogance, Kim Suk-ji was furious inside, but didn't dare say a word. You should sit down and wait for a moment. Unlike Min Jae-hyun, Jin Yoo-young and Soo Ina obediently did as told. At that moment, Gu Jiren finally arrived. Sorry to keep you waiting, but I'm late. Jin Yoo-young and Soo Ina immediately stood up. Hello, I'm Jin Yoo-young, a freshman from the Magic Division. I'm Soo Ina. Gu Jiren smiled. I know both of you, Jin Yoo-young and Soo Ina. Min Jae-hyun, however, spoke impatiently. You really are late. I almost fell asleep waiting. The remark stunned Jin Yoo-young and Soo Ina, and even Kim Suk-ji turned pale. The office fell into complete silence. Gu Jiren suppressed his anger. Putting on a gentle smile, he said, my apologies, I needed some time to prepare so we could have a proper conversation. Min Jae-hyun didn't take the hint and shot back. No, we should be the ones apologizing. We've been fighting for 3 straight days in the subspace, barely had time to wash up, and still rushed over. Gu Jiren quickly responded. That was indeed an oversight on my part. After several subtle probes, Min Jae-hyun realized it clearly. Gu Jiren was backing down, unwilling to let talent like them slip away. Gu Jiren spoke calmly. I've prepared what I believe is a rather appealing proposal. Please excuse the formality. First of all, congratulations to the three of you for placing in the top 3 of this hunt. True elites in everyone's eyes. Especially you, Min Jae-hyun, for taking first place. You didn't just win, you shattered the previous record by an overwhelming margin. Such a result is astonishing, even to me. Min Jae-hyun frowned. Can you get to the point already? Gu Jiren paused briefly before continuing. The Milan's Academy intends to grant you several special privileges. First, you'll be allowed to stay in the Academy's premium dormitory suites free of charge. Second, any facility that requires reservations. Each of you will have priority access. Third, should you ever be dissatisfied with an exam result, you'll be granted one opportunity to apply for a re-examination. As the top 3 finishers of the freshman hunt, Min Jae-hyun's group received unprecedented treatment. Free access to premium dormitory suites, priority usage rights for all reserved facilities, and even exceptional flexibility within the Academy's examination system. Gu Jiren then added smoothly. On top of that, the 3 of you may also sign this agreement and become cooperative partners of Milan's Academy. But Min Jae-hyun rejected it outright. Sure, those benefits sound nice. But honestly, with our own abilities, we could get all of that within a month anyway, couldn't we? Milan's Academy is supposed to be a place where strength speaks for itself that I don't really see why we're being asked to sign an extra contract on top of paying tuition. So how about you let me take a look at the agreement first? And just like that, the so-called Milan's Academy Partnership Agreement was placed in front of them. For the 5 years after signing the agreement, as Raiders carry out their activities, they must donate 30% of their earnings to the Academy. Chairman Gu Jiren, this isn't a benefit for us. This is you trying to trap us, isn't it? Gu Jiren said helplessly. If that's how you see it, then there's nothing I can do. This agreement isn't mandatory. Whether to sign or not is up to the 3 of you. After hearing what Min Jae-hyun said, Kim Yoo-young and Soo Ina exchanged a glance. The 2 of them quickly decided not to sign the agreement. Gu Jiren lowered his head and said, what a pity, truly a pity. This is already the best offer I can make to you. Perhaps you haven't thought it through yet. I can give you one more chance. Min Jae-hyun, do you still refuse to sign with me? Gu Ziren had no idea that Min Jae-hyun had been waiting for the moment he would attempt brainwashing Ying. Protected by Hell's blessing, Min Jae-hyun would not be affected by brainwashing Ying. I've already made myself very clear I don't intend to sign that agreement. If there's nothing else, then we'll be leaving. After 3 days of non-stop fighting and being summoned to the office right away, we really need some proper rest. Just like that, the three of them walked past instructor Kim Suk-ji once again. After hearing the exchange, Kim Suk-ji was already drenched in cold sweat. Only Gu Ziren and Kim Suk-ji remained inside the office. Gu Ziren's expression darkened completely. Instructor Kim, you may leave as well. He's just a freshman, yet he was able to resist my innate skill. Min Jae-hyun, you make me want you even more. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Min Jae-hyun asked, you're really not bothered by this? You turned down Gu Ziren's proposal as well. Kim Young replied, at first it was tempting, but after hearing what you said, it actually made a lot of sense. Suyana agreed. I also had doubts about that contract. Refusing it felt like the right choice. If we received special treatment from the start, it wouldn't be fair to others. Those things should be earned through one's own strength. Only then did Min Jae-hyun relax. That's good, Tio, be honest. I was hoping you'd refuse it too. Kim Young asked, don't you find it strange? When we turned down his offer, his expression turned terrifyingly dark. Suyana replied, I felt something was off too. The very first activity after enrollment already went wrong, yet neither of them mentioned it at all. Min Jae-hyun, do you know something about Chairman Gu Ziren? Hearing that, Min Jae-hyun came to a stop. Why would you think that? Suyana explained, you were far too composed for a freshman, but when you faced the chairman, you were unusually hostile toward him. Min Jae-hyun hesitated. I'm not completely sure myself, so it's not something I can talk about yet. But there's one thing I can tell you. If possible, don't trust anyone, neither the chairman nor the instructors. Suyana asked, does that mean we shouldn't trust you either? Just then, Kim Young sneaked up behind Suyana and startled her. That's right, you can't trust him either. Look at how scary he looks. He even left me alone in the middle of the road earlier. As she spoke, she lunged forward. Do you have any idea how wronged I felt back then? After a brief bout of playful scuffling, Min Jae-hyun pushed Kim Young away. All right, let's head back. Suyana said reluctantly. Looks like this is where we part ways, right? Kim Young glanced at the two of them, standing there awkwardly. Then teased, what is this, a coming-of-age romance drama? Want to cast me in it too? Min Jae-hyun pushed her away helplessly. Girls' dorms are on the left, boys' dorms on the right. Go get some rest already. Suyana replied softly. Then we'll head back first. Min Jae-hyun, make sure you rest well too. Tomorrow's the first class. See you then. Min Jae-hyun returned once more to his dorm room, where the air was thick with the stench of mold, and the floorboards creaked with every step. All the neglect he had suffered as an incompetent underachiever still lingering in this place. A feeling he hadn't experienced in a very long time. Early the next morning, students had already gathered inside the equipment hall. Hello, everyone from the Magic Division. My name is Kim Ji-yoon, and I'll be the lead instructor for Mana Adaptation Fundamentals I. Watching the instructor on stage, Min Jae-hyun pondered inwardly. Instructor Kim Ji-yoon? I don't remember her from my previous life. Maybe because I was in the martial division back then, I never paid much attention. And she also left Milan's academy not long after, which wasn't difficult to understand, since being an instructor at Milan's academy was far from easy, a fact acknowledged by most awakeners. Though there were exceptions like Kim Suki, who stayed purely out of obsession with Gu Ziren's money.